What's up guys, this is your favorite fanfic YouTuber, the Fanfic Majesty, and welcome to another amazing video. You can follow me on Patreon for exclusive stories. 6 id. Chapter 126 Linlin is the granddaughter. Newgate is the son. Newgate is Linlin's father. Open black lens bracket please subscribe close black lens bracket. Advertise here. Inland Marine Battlefield. The moment Roger, the strongest reinforcement, arrived. The result is already determined. Rock's Pirate 7, 8, 9, and 3 Dalton's legions were destroyed. 3 Legion commanders with bounties exceeding 1 billion were all defeated. All that remains is the cleaning of the battlefield. At the same time, the other side opposite the Marine Inland Battlefield. A battlefield for world government guards. At this moment, the overall situation has been decided. It's just the opposite of Marine. Over there is complete victory for the pirates. Just 2 people are an elite force capable of defeating and annihilating the world government. This is the strength of Edward Newgate and Charlotte Linlin, the captains of Rock's Pirates 5th and 6th Regiments. Well, you are so vulnerable. Bastards of world government. Charlotte Linlin laughed triumphantly and looked towards the City of God with the 6 out, head of the Horizon Bureau. Then, Newgate, let's go there and make a big fuss. If you want to go, just go there by yourself, I'll go over there and take a look. After saying that, Newgate headed towards the direction where the thunder was raging without looking back. Wait, Newgate, where are you going? I want to come too. The blonde leopard print girl Miss Bajan hurriedly followed. Well, if you want to die, just come with me. Charlotte Linlin's eyes flashed. What do you mean? Miss Bajan paused. Linlin, big sister head, Bao Bao and Kaido also looked puzzled. Well, forget it, just wait here for now. I'll go see you too. Charlotte Linlin caught up with Newgate with earth-shaking steps. Damn Linlin, he must be trying to do evil again to separate me from Newgate. Miss Bajan gritted her teeth and followed. Bao Bao and Kaido looked at each other and nodded. In this dangerous battlefield, as expected, it is safest to follow Linlin and Newgate. Otherwise, now a random group of Marines would be enough to take care of them. Think of this. They also quickly followed up. 10 minutes later. Xiao He, I leave this to you, the teacher, teach the disobedient children a lesson. Roger smiled. Is Linlin here? Asked the always smart Vice Admiral Crane. Roger was noncommittal, disillusioned one step at a time. Over a mountain. The other side of the mountain. 2 tall figures, a man and a woman, walked hand in hand. Like 2 demon gods, they oppressed everyone with soul-stirring terror. In silence, a figure appeared out of thin air. Appeared in front of 2 men and women. At the same time, he also appeared in the sight of the 3 people who were following him 100 meters away. Who was that? The younger brother Kaido rubbed his eyes. The old man with white hair. Miss Bajan's heart tightened for no reason. Ah, Bao Bao screamed for no reason. Eyes bulging. There was uncontrollable fear and horror on his face. Bread, what's wrong? Who is that person? Kaido asked anxiously. That man is Shiro Yasha. Shiro Yasha Roger. Why, this man actually appeared too. Bao Bao screamed in horror. In my mind, memories of a few years ago emerged uncontrollably. What are you talking about, Roger Shirayasha? Is he the legendary director from Impel Down? Miss Barkin, a blonde leopard print girl, looks pale. So, who is that white yaksha? As a younger brother, Internet Rock's pirate, Kaido is still confused. Without waiting for his doubts to be answered. The next second. Exclamation mark. The terrifying Conqueror's hockey hedge happens. Well, Charlotte Linlin laughs. Powerful conquerors emerge from around him like a tidal wave. Hey, how's it going? Grandpa Roger, this is the new power Linlin has awakened after completely breaking away from Grandpa's control. Charlotte Linlin had an expression on her face that was full of pride, showing off, and wanting to be praised. After actually meeting Roger, she seems to be no longer the big mom that makes people hate her. It's back to the time when I was little again, the little girl looking forward to being praised by Roger. Roger, grandfather, is that Linlin the granddaughter of Shiro Yaksha? Listen to what Charlotte Linlin calls Roger. Unknowingly, Miss Bajan and her little brother Kaido both widened their eyes in shock and disbelief. I was extremely shocked by the sound of Grandpa. However, something even more shocking to them was yet to come. Hey, Grandpa Roger, is Linlin now qualified to have a child with you? Also, Linlin actually cheated on you last time, and Linlin hasn't actually been touched by another man yet. Those children were just artificially synthesized using MADS, new technology. Charlotte Linlin looked at Roger expectantly. Kaido, Miss Bajan. Not just Grandpa, I actually want to be with my grandpa. I'm going at hash. What a powerful secret. If they accidentally hear this secret, will they be killed and silenced later? Miss Bajan and Kaido started to panic. In the room, the atmosphere became more and more solemn. Hey, Grandpa Roger, do you think it's okay or not? You should say. That's enough, Linlin. The sound of hockey's drink burst out. The Conqueror's wave from Charlotte Linlin has not yet receded. Another brand new Conqueror's hockey, bursting with force. Come on, Come on, Newgate is going crazy. Even if our opponent is Shiro Yakusha, we still have Newgate here. Miss Bajan spoke excitedly. However, Linlin, now that the matter is over, don't continue to challenge Dad's bottom line of 2.5. You should know best that if something doesn't work, it won't work. That's it. Newgate drank in a deep voice. Kaka. Somewhere. It was like the sound of something cracking. It was Miss Bajan, little brother Kaido and the baguette that broke apart. Because of what Edward Newgate said earlier. Because of Newgate's daddy sound. After Charlotte Linlin is Shiro Yakusha's granddaughter. The powerful commander of the Fifth Army, Edward Newgate, turned out to be Shiro Yakusha's son. Rounding. So could it be said that Newgate is Linlin's father? Ruined. Now it's completely over. They will definitely be killed and silenced after hearing such a shocking secret. Chapter 127 9 Conquerors. The sky cracks. Shock to shock. Open black lens bracket. Please subscribe. Close black lens bracket. Advertise here. Boom. Big Mom Charlotte Linlin and Whitebeard Edward Newgate. Two powerful conquerors clash, transforming the intangible into something substantial. Red and black lightning raged in all directions, disrupting the world. The conflict between the two momentums gradually escalated. Endless dark clouds are gathering in all directions. It rotates slowly like Uzumaki in the ocean. Cemetery. At this time, okay, two idiots, let's stop here. Roger sighed softly and Yinshin shook his head. As his words fell. The third chi machine filled the sky and the earth out of thin air. It was the breath of dominance that was far superior to Linlin and Newgate. When Roger's aura of dominance spreads between heaven and earth, the wind stopped. The clouds are quiet. The grass and trees sway gently. The waves of the sea have calmed down. Everything seems to be bowing its head and surrendering here. What's wrong? What's going on with this smell? Hey, whose conquerors is it? Captain John screamed in horror. The first two breaths were unmistakable. They were Linlin and Newgate, but now. The armor was broken, and Silver Axe's pale face was filled with fear, revealing his thin true body. The stronger the person, the more terrifying he can feel the breath of dominance. 23 That seems to represent the will of heaven and earth. PFF ha 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 ha, this is my teacher. Wake up, pirate villains. No one can escape today. Garp laughed. It takes 50 years to sharpen a sword, but once it is born, the world will be shocked. You have already offended the people you shouldn't have offended. Zephyr grinned. It's not yet certain who will lose and who will win. I will win this battle. Akoku swings his sword. Teacher has already made a sample, and as a disciple, I should follow suit. The giant Buddha Sengoku's tiger body trembled. Conqueror's haki, who dominates the world, bursts out. Pressing towards the golden lion Shiki. Jia ha 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 ha, bastard Sengoku, don't think you are the only one who has conquerors. Golden lion Shiki laughed wildly. Conquerors, the lion swallowing the world, exploded. The battlefield of the overlord and the admiral, the marshal. Feel the gentle overlord breath that can cleanse your soul. Admiral Kong and Marshal Raymond both had intoxicated expressions on their faces. The strength in the body keeps emerging. As long as that person is still there, your conspiracy will never succeed. Marshal Raymond said categorically. Go on, Lux. Admiral Kong shouted. La ha 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 ha. The overlord of the sea, rocks, covered his forehead with his right hand and laughed maniacally. Shiro Yakusha. What does Bai Yakusha mean? He's just a coward who doesn't dare to appear in front of me. Rox laughed arrogantly. While laughing, a breath of kingship that dominates the world emerges from his body. Condensed into a ghostly shadow. Countless tentacles surged. It's like a group of demons dancing around. Finally. That terrifying tyrant she condensed into a heavenly sword. Pierced the sky, strong and domineering. I'll take care of you two trash first, and then Shiro Yakusha. Rox grinned. A head full of red hair dancing in the wind. He looks like a madman, like a ghost or a god. Asterisk. The secluded back shore of the island of the gods. A large three-masted sailboat moored quietly. The 10-man team responsible for going deep into the island suddenly raised their heads. Ah ha 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 ha, it's so lively. How about we respond to Rayleigh, Jabba? Roger laughed happily. I don't want it, idiot captain. Rayleigh scolded mercilessly. We are sneaking in secretly now. If we respond, won't we be exposed? Jabba shook his head. Ah ha 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 ha, that's right, then keep walking, that voice is getting stronger and stronger. A corner of a deserted battlefield. Roger looked up. Watching the heavenly sword in the distance tear open a hole in his own mellow tyrant domain. The expression on his face was always neither happy nor sad, without any change. Now on this battlefield, the only person qualified to be his opponent is Rox. But rules are rules. 30 years ago, Roger once made a rule with the Dark Uranus Beckett. Let the new generation fight the new generation. Rox is Beckett's heir. The ones who will face off are naturally Roger's disciples. Kong can be counted as half. Others include Garp, Sengoku, Roger, etc. No matter how, Roger would not take the initiative to find Rox, not in the world. Besides, there is another important reason. Roger doesn't want to make the world government laugh. Today, the city of God must be destroyed. The valley of gods will sink. The fun has just begun. Roger looked away. He looked back at Linlin and Newgate in front of him. Linlin, after the war is over, I will go to your place for a visit. Roger said calmly. Really? Master Roger, that's great. Charlotte Linlin danced with joy and was filled with excitement. Roger's eyes immediately fell on Newgate. If you want to reminisce about old times, you can skip it. Roger waved his hand. Newgate was stunned. Newgate, come on, let me see your new power. Roger said. Yes. Newgate understood what Roger meant. More than 50 years ago, Roger sets up a fruit formation in eternal hell. Want to intercept the father-in-law's devil fruit ability. Result. Fail. It was about 10 years ago. Roger and Newgate, the unrelated father and son, meet again. The two disguised their identities and traveled around the world for 6 months. The purpose of 967 is to find a certain fruit. Unfortunately, nothing was found. Later, the two tried to search several times. Still haven't encountered even a hare. Roger felt that it was inappropriate to be too deliberate. So I gave up accompanying him. Newgate was left to drift. See if you can encounter that destined fruit. As Roger expected. Even without his intervention, Grant's shock fruit ability was still well inherited by Newgate. Dad, if you are too careless, you will suffer a loss. Newgate grinned confidently. Haha, how dare you say that, Newgate brat. Roger smiled slightly. Newgate smiled naively and punched hard with his raised right hand. Boom. It's like the heart of heaven and earth is beating. The atmosphere and void trembled slightly as he clenched his fist. This is my best effort now. Newgate punched. Click. The atmosphere shattered like a mirror under his fist. The strongest Paramesha shock fruit ability, burst. Still a long way to go. Roger raised his right hand calmly and faced Newgate's shaking room. The strongest Paramesha shock fruit ability comes from the same source, triggering. Boom. Fists and palms exchanged. Rumble, rumble. The sky and the earth roared. The universe trembled. A huge gap opened in the distant sky. Chapter 128. The Five Elders are horrified. Linlin Newgate breaks through the city of God. Open black lens bracket. Please subscribe. Close black lens bracket. Advertise here. Rumble, rumble. A peerless collision. Shocking confrontation. Make the sky crack. City of God, city walls. The sword-wielding warrior Lao Xing looked up at the sky and unconsciously tightened the long sword in his hand. Looking at the terrifying crack that split the sky, his old face couldn't help but show extreme horror. The thoughts of escape in my heart were stronger than ever before. But when I think about what I boasted in front of the other 5 elders before leaving. The sword-wielding warrior 5 elders gritted their teeth and pretended to be calm before sitting down again. I don't know how much time has passed. The cracks in the distant sky are gradually smoothed. The unparalleled hockey that lingered around the world slowly dissipated. The world returns to peace. The war is still stalemate. Call. The sword-wielding samurai Old Star breathed a sigh of relief. It seems it's safe here for the time being. The 5 elders thought so. However, the next second, boom, boom, the sound of heavy footsteps came from the plain outside the city. A man and a woman, 2 little giant-like figures walking hand in hand. Every step was so heavy that the heaven and earth trembled slightly. That's Gluttony Linlin and Furious Newgate. Bastards. You actually dare to openly let go. That guy really doesn't really want to join the war. The Old Star, the sword-wielding samurai, stood up suddenly in shock, his teeth grinding loudly. Well, it seems that we are the first to arrive at the legendary city of gods. Charlotte Linlin laughed happily. Hey, Linlin, it's not too late to turn back now. If you are willing to turn from darkness to light now and help our government fight against the Rocks pirate, we can forget everything in the past, whether it is Impel Down, Marine, or the government, it is up to you. The sword-wielding warrior 5 elders shouted loudly, trying to sow discord. Is that an acquaintance of yours? Newgate glanced at Linlin unexpectedly. I'm not familiar with that kind of old guy. Charlotte Linlin grinned. 5 elders, if you still say this now, do you really think I am a 3-year-old kid who is easy to deceive? Linlin responded with a loud shout. 5 elders. Newgate's brows raised sharply. 5 elders. The trio of Miss Bajan, Bao Bao and Kaido, who were far behind them, could not help but be shocked again at this moment. Never would I have imagined that the old man on the city wall would be the legendary 5 elders. The highest power at the top of the sky and the center of the world is hidden. In this war, even figures like the 5 elders took part in it themselves. If word spreads, it will definitely make the world tremble. How many earth-shattering secrets are we going to witness today? Are they really going to be silenced? Kaido's younger brother felt flustered for a while. Even the 5 elders personally took action. It seems that there is indeed an incredible treasure hidden in that city of gods. Baguette exclaimed. This is the best thing. After Captain Rocks gets the treasure, and then uses the blood of the world's highest power to sacrifice the flag, maybe he can really succeed in seizing the world. Miss Bajan said longingly. Can it really go smoothly? That Shiro Yaksha is still on the island. Kaido and the Baguette murmured under each other. Drink. The shouting sound from Charlotte Linlin exploded in the sky. Ignore the olive branch offered by the sword-wielding 5 elders. Charlotte Linlin raised her long, strong legs. He suddenly kicked towards the wall of God's city 100 meters away. Tempest kick. Destroy the country. Roar. Like the roar of a beast. A huge 100-meter Tempest kick air blade flew out. Flying straight towards the city of God, trying to break open the city gate and penetrate the city wall. This is something Roger has done twice before in Mariajoy. Linlin also wants to follow suit. However, the giant Tempest kick has not yet fallen. Swish. 2 blasts of wind sounded in the void. 2 figures in white robes suddenly appeared. 1 punches. 1 person also suggested Tempest kick. The combined strength of 2 people. Linlin's Tempest kick offensive was blocked. There was a soft thud. Countless blue light spots scattered. Above the city wall, the old face of the sword-wielding warrior 5 elders is no longer sincere, gradually becoming colder. Since you are stubborn and insist on doing this, then don't blame me for being ruthless. Since you are here today, you can all die here. The sword-wielding samurai old star shouted coldly. Well, if you can do it, just give it a try, stinky old man. Charlotte Linlin laughs confidently. Snort. The sword-wielding warrior 5 elders snorted coldly. A big wave of his hand. The city gates are wide open. A group of heavily armed world government elite escort teams filed out. Among them are 10 strong CPs who are comparable to the Vice Admiral level, hundreds of Rear Admiral level strongmen, and more strong Captain level strongmen. Linlin and Newgate exchanged only a cursory glance. Then his eyes fell on the 2 white-robed men on the strongest side again. Those who are qualified to stand at the front and guard the gate are naturally the Admiral-level experts of the world government. Only, well, you stinky old man, your world government's top combat power is too cheap, can they even compare to Admiral? If you want to stop us, you need at least one more fight from such people. Linlin sneered wantonly. FK. The sword-wielding samurai old star's face turned green and red. There was nothing else to say except a cold snort. CP's Admiral is indeed a bit weaker than Marine's Orthodox Admiral. But it's not as bad as Linlin said. Also, this time, of course, the top combat forces sent by their world government are more than 2. It's just that the trump cards naturally have to be revealed one by one. Superior. With an order from the 5 elders. Led by 2 top CP experts. The elite armies of world government are mobilized. The 6-style shaving turned thousands of people into afterimages at the same time. Tread. Driven by 6 styles moonwalk. The elites of the world government soared into the sky by stepping on the atmosphere. Intertwined into an airtight network in the sky. Then. All the government elites raised their feet. That's the starting point of the 6-position Tempest kick. Well, Newgate, let's have a grand and spectacular row. Chinma Jiao. Linlin laughed. I don't object to this. Newgate grinned. Duh. The long-handled naginata pierced the ground heavily. Wow. The wind roared from heaven to earth. The cloak of the legionnaire behind Newgate was fluttering in the wind. Ding. Under the dark sky, the dark blue Tempest kick light lights up. Tempest kick. Following the order from the leading CP Admiral. Hundreds of thousands of Tempest kick air blades flew in unison. It covered the sky and the earth and shot towards Linlin and Newgate. Everything is invisible. At the same time, only a muffled sound of dong was heard. The sky and the earth suddenly trembled and became silent. The next second, click, click, click. The atmosphere made an overwhelming rattling sound. Pure white light bloomed from the center of countless dark blue air blades, dazzling the cabinet. The strongest paramesha, shock fruit ability, full power, explosion. Chapter 129 The Roger Pirates fully invade the city of God. Please subscribe. Advertise here. The strongest paramesha that destroys heaven and earth. Shock fruit ability, full power, burst. Click, 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 click. The atmosphere made an overwhelming rattling sound. A series of dense spider web-like cracks centered on Newgate's fist and radiated in all directions. The dark blue Tempest kick air blade that filled the sky suddenly stopped before it completely fell. Pure white vibrating light blooms. Overwhelms the dark blue color. Kaka. Boom. Thousands of Tempest kicks that were powerful enough to cut through solid stone shattered into pieces. It turned into countless blue light spots and dissipated with the wind. This is not the end. Cracks in the atmosphere spread along the void. The sky is densely covered like a tree diagram. Drink. It fell with Newgate's loud shout. The real power of this blow is the explosion. The atmosphere completely shattered. Vacuum turbulence ensues. The elite and powerful people who dominate world government are all staggering. Ah. The screams came one after another, one after another. Just one hit. There were hundreds of world government elites vomiting blood and flying backwards. It fell to the ground and the earth shattered. It fell on the city wall and cracked. Even the 2 Admiral level 613 CPs fell back under the shock. The face under the mask was full of shock and horror. Edward Newgate, commander of the Rock's Pirate 5th Corps. It was several times more terrifying than the information they had learned. Well. A heart-wrenching laugh broke out. Kang. The sharp sword shines brightly. Linlin took out the big knife from his waist. He slashed straight at the gate of the City of Gods and the 5 elders on the city wall. Powerful country. The huge dark purple sword energy illuminates the night sky. Kick, kick, kick. A government CP admiral galloped across the ground. On the way to running, his figure suddenly swelled up against the storm. The loose white robe was torn. The muscles like a horned dragon have black hairs like steel needles standing upright. Roar. CP Admiral Zone's ancient abilities are fully activated. Transformed into a 10-meter level King Kong orangutan standing tall on the sky and on the ground. Patting the solid chest of the bear, he stopped in front of Linlin's powerful country. Iron body. Armed. The King Kong orangutan CP activates the armed color and iron body defense at the same time. The tall body seemed to have turned into a real body of fine steel at this moment. Both fists clashed to resist the dark purple sword energy. Driven by the terrifying sword energy, the King Kong orangutan's footsteps moved continuously. Leave 2 deep marks on the earth. Finally, before reaching the city gate, this group blocked it head-on with great danger. But there was still a long and narrow wound on the steel-like body. Blood gurgled. Hoo, ho, the ape roars. The muscles at the wound contract and the bleeding is stopped instantly. Well, it's more interesting this way. Linlin took a sudden step forward. His aggressive eyes scanned in all directions. Chilling. Stop dilly-dallying, Linlin, make a quick decision and complete the mission. Newgate said solemnly. Don't worry, I won't be lazy again in this battle. Linlin grinned. Boom, boom. The 2 future emperors of the sea are firing on all cylinders. Invest 120% of your strength. Not for rocks, the king of the sea. Just because this is the task assigned by Roger. Under the unrivaled power of the Emperor of the Sea. World government's 2 ancient CPs, Admiral, were forced to retreat step by step. The aftermath of the terrifying impact spread, causing the cracks on the city wall to become more dense. 10 minutes into the battle, only a loud bang was heard. The walls of the City of God collapsed. Good, amazing. Miss Bajan's eyes widened. This is the true strength of the eldest sister and that monster Newgate. Brother Kaido was amazed. Linlin has gone all out, and we can't paddle anymore. Come on, Kaido. The short sword is unsheathed at the waist of the long bread. Leading Kaido into the battlefield quietly. CDAE, then I'll contact the brothers and come over. Miss Bajan took out a flare from her clothes and it went off. Damn. The ruined city wall. The sword-wielding warrior 5 elders roared angrily. I thought that this lineup would be enough to hold down just 2 army commanders. However, he realized now that he had underestimated Linlin and Newgate too much. It's just that the 2 top CPs can't stop him. At least 2 more are coming. The sword-wielding warrior 5 elders looked towards the south gate. It is necessary to order the recruitment of 2 top CPs guarding the south gate. However, Master 5 elders, something bad is going to happen. A world government official came rolling over to report. What happened again? The sword-wielding warrior 5 elders had veins pulsing on his forehead. South gate. Just now, we lost contact with the south gate. The south gate was breached by someone silently. World government officials reported in horror. What did you say? The sword-wielding warriors 5 elders opened their eyes angrily and gritted their teeth. It must be that guy. That bastard. How dare you do it? The 5 elders were filled with anger. The next second, only a loud bang was heard. A tall tower building near the south gate collapsed. Then there was another loud bang. In the other direction, a cannonball-like figure crashed to the ground, stirring up flying dust. This is not over yet. The 3rd lane, the 4th lane. One after another, figures flew to various parts of the City of God like cannonballs, causing unprecedented chaos. 5 elders. The phone buzzes loudly. This is the south gate. Now we have found an intruder, and we are chasing him. 5 elders, this is the church. The intruder has been discovered and the master has been identified. Report, Lord 5 elders, the identity of the intruder has been confirmed. Confirmed. The church trespasser is Roger. Pirate Gall D. Roger. This is Rayleigh. Pluton Silver Rayleigh. There's also Copper Jabba, Kadri Spencer, and Fishman Sunbell. The intruders are the Roger pirates. Confirm again. The intruders are the Roger pirates. Ah. Listening to the chaotic reports from dozens of phone bugs on the ground. The sword-wielding warrior 5 elders couldn't help but froze on the spot for a moment, and they were all dumbfounded. His eyes bulged and his mouth opened wide. His head was on the verge of exploding. It's not just Rock's pirate. Now even the Roger pirates have come to join in the fun. And as soon as they came, they stole their hometown. This kind of thing. Ah. The sword-wielding warrior 5 elders screamed in shock and rage. The next second, boom, there was a loud bang. The main gate of the City of Gods that he was responsible for guarding completely collapsed and exploded. Hoo la la la. Newgate laughed. Well. Linlin laughed. No, whisper. Kaido smirked. Chapter 130. Occasionally be clever. Send Roger off. Open black lens bracket. Please subscribe close black lens bracket. Advertise here. Time goes back slightly to 5 minutes ago. A team of 10 people quietly reached the center of the Island of Gods, the City of Gods, from the coast. They are the pirate Roger and his gang. Captain Roger, Vice Captain Rayleigh, Third in Command Jabba, Spencer, Taro, Fishman Sunbell, Giant Sequel and other 7 senior officials who got the lucky lottery. Smooth and smooth. Lucky lucky. It's not just luck. This is the best path selected by everyone based on their knowledge and experience. This is strength, strength. Taro, Spencer and other senior officials of Roger Group were talking about it. Ah ha ha ha. Don't worry about such small details, let's sneak into the City of God in one go, kids. Roger raised his arms and shouted. Oh, he's so big and his voice is too loud, you idiot Roger. Rayleigh quickly covered Roger's big mouth. But Rayleigh, you're already here, so you don't have to worry about being exposed or not. It's better to say it's exposed. My ace, big sword, is already very thirsty. Roger caressed the supremely sharp knife in his hand, the ace. As you can see, the previous protective shield, who knows what kind of special attack power is hidden in this city, was destroyed by one blow, but it was too late to cry. It is better to test it carefully first. Quote. Vice Captain Rayleigh spoke cautiously. Taro, Spencer and other cadres all nodded in approval. After all, the country they are invading now is not an ordinary country. It is the biggest secret place hidden by the world government and celestial dragons. Even if there is some super powerful weapon among them that can annihilate all sentient beings in one blow, it would not be too surprising. Hey everyone, there's something going on. There seems to be something wrong with the city gate here. The third in command, Copper Jabba, suddenly spoke, attracting people's attention. Really, in this time of war, it's too quiet here. Why can't you see any of the guards at the city gate? Even the city gates are wide open, as if they are welcoming us in. This seems unscientific. The senior leaders of Roger's group were all murmuring. I see. Roger's eyes suddenly lit up. You know a hammer. Rayleigh answered subconsciously. Mr. Lay, don't deny it yet. Even Captain Roger may still have some good suggestions occasionally. Cadre Spencer said. Yes, Captain Roger, what do you know? Taro asked. This is an empty city plan by the world government. Roger spoke firmly. Empty city plan? What kind of plan is this? By the way, where did you learn about this strategy? Everyone complained. Don't worry about how I knew it. In short, they pretended that there was no one around, luring us into thinking there was a scam and not daring to rush in. In fact, they are really short of manpower and have no gatekeepers. Roger said seriously. I see. The empty city plan is really insidious. I almost got cheated. Fishman Sunbell and others nodded in understanding. Ah ha ha ha, if you know, then let's go. Roger waved his hand. Wait a moment. Rayleigh frowned and raised his hand to stop. Any more questions, Deputy Lay? Everyone asked suspiciously. Roger's empty city strategy makes sense, but have you ever thought about it? This is the headquarters of the world government, and may there be insufficient security. Rayleigh offers her own opinion. Jabba and the others were stunned again. It seems to make some sense. So in my opinion, this is Kai Guguo's trap. The opponent calculated correctly that we would think they were using an empty city tactic, so they deliberately pretended to be an empty city tactic. In fact, the strongest force is arranged behind the door, waiting for us. Rayleigh said. That seems right. Everyone nodded. But, Roger took over. It's also possible that the opponent calculated it correctly. Rayleigh, you guessed that they were pretending to be an empty city tactic to ambush their men, so they didn't dare to rush in, and then took the opportunity to use a vacuum city tactic to evacuate. Stop. No Matryoshka dolls allowed here. Don't wait for Roger to finish. Jabba, Spencer and others quickly intervened to interrupt. Captain Roger, Mate Lay, please don't say anything. It's going to be endless now. We have all been fooled by you. Sequel and others said resentfully. Roger and Rayleigh smiled awkwardly. I'd better go explore the road. Jabba spoke. The words fell. His figure suddenly rushed out. Take off in 2s and 3s to enter the south gate. Roger, Rayleigh, there's really no one here. Come over here. Jabba's voice came. Roger and others quickly followed. The south gate of the huge city of gods was actually empty. Wrong. Roger's expression changed slightly. Open a small door in the city gate cave. Snap. A seriously injured and comatose government elite fell. Holy shit. It's not that there's no one, it's that they were overthrown. Who did it? Please give me flowers. Who can be faster than us? Is it rocks? Everyone in Roger's group was so shocked that their eyes widened. Ta. The sound of footsteps came from behind them. Everyone quickly turned around alertly. Wait until you see the person coming from behind. Everyone's eyes opened wider and wider. Rollero. Gurgurgur. Roger. Senior. Taro waited for Gaugan to speak stammeringly. Ah ha. I knew it was you, teacher. Roger smiled naively and stepped forward. Too slow. Roger. Roger smiled. For the Matryoshka conversation between Roger and Rayleigh outside the city. He heard it all. Roger, who was very nervous, actually remembered the empty city strategy that he had mentioned casually. He was very pleased. But at the same time, I was also amused by their Matryoshka doll dialogue. 0. I have packed everything and waited for them to come. still sitting there grinding and chirping. A little later, Roger couldn't help but rush out and beat them up. Ah ha ha ha, Teacher Roger, don't be afraid of being late if you have a good meal, don't be anxious. Roger laughed. Sir Roger, I didn't expect you to even open the back door for us. Woohoo, I'm so touched. The fallen Marine Colonel Mu Lien, who once belonged to Marine and even trained under Impel Down Roger, took the opportunity to flatter him. Unexpectedly, it hit the horse's leg. Roger picked him up without saying a word. If you are so touched, then it will be your turn to repay the favor. Roger's hand shook. Fallen Marine Colonel Mu Lien suddenly flew away. Smashed through a nearby tower. Immediately afterwards. Roger took off. Across half the city, we came to the church in the north. Interesting. Jabba gears up and takes the initiative to catch Roger's cannonball launcher. Roger then looked at the others. Nothing can happen. Rayleigh quickly waved her hand in decline. We will do it ourselves, we will do it ourselves. We already understand what Senior Roger means. Everyone, let's make this city lively. Rayleigh raised his arms. Oh, the high-ranking officers of Roger's regiment worked in pairs and dispersed. Boom. Main entrance direction. Linlin and Newgate broke in. A large number of Rock's pirates followed closely behind. The water is muddy enough this time. Let's start fishing next. Roger grinned. Chapter 131 Linlin wants to kill the Supreme Power. 5 elders run away. Open black lens bracket. Please subscribe close black lens bracket. Advertise here. The Battle of the Valley of the Gods lasted 3 hours. The city of gods where celestial dragons live has been destroyed. The 10-man team of Roger pirates alone is causing trouble in the city. With the influx of pirates from Linlin, Newgate and the Rocks group, the sacred city of God fell into chaos unprecedented in 800 years. Damn it. The 5 elders, the sword-wielding warriors, were impotent and furious, roaring to the sky. However, it is difficult to support a single tree and cannot support the overall situation. All he could do was draw his knife. Kang. The supreme sharp sword first generation Ghost Tetsu, unsheathed. The endless evil breath spreads. Swish, swish, swish. The strange and sharp sword light flickers. The pirates fell in pieces. Heads and severed limbs flew away. Based on hundreds of years of sword-wielding swordsmanship, the 5 elders. It is easy to deal with ordinary pirates. We can even say. It takes many times longer to practice than ordinary people. 823, his combat power is definitely comparable to that of the real admiral. He also needs to be superior to the government's CP admiral level powerhouses. But even so, he still didn't dare to trouble Linlin and Newgate. Even though he is powerful, he is very afraid of death. The longer a person lives, the more he fears death. Especially beings like the 5 elders who have unlimited life and the highest power in the world. The word, fear of death, has almost been engraved into his bone marrow and soul. After all, who would give up eternal life and supreme power unless absolutely necessary? So no matter how angry you are inside, the sword-wielding samurai 5 elders only dare to attack ordinary pirates. He will not take the initiative to find trouble with top experts. Well, that old man from the 5 elders turns out to be quite a powerful person. I thought he was just a soft-footed shrimp. Linlin's eyes flickered as he stared at the 5 elders, the majestic sword-wielding warriors who were killing everyone. Don't be careless, Linlin. Newgate warned solemnly. Well, you don't need to worry about it, Newgate. Linlin laughed like a devil and strode towards the 5 elders. If I take the heads of the 5 elders here, Master Roger will definitely be happy and will definitely reward Linlin. Think of this. Linlin waved his knife. The huge dark purple sword light sliced open the earth and attacked the 5 elders. How brave. The old star, the sword-wielding warrior, screamed in anger. Swish. An X-shaped sword energy flew out from under first-generation Kidetsu's blade. There was a violent collision with the dark purple domineering sword energy. Bang bang. The X-shaped sword energy shattered. However, the third sword of the sword-wielding warrior Lao Xing followed. Then came the 4th and 5th knives. It only takes a moment. The sword-wielding warrior 5 elders just doesn't know how many swords he can wield. Countless afterimages of swords appeared in the world. The power of each sword is far less than that of Wei Guo. But quantitative changes are enough to trigger qualitative changes. Under his high-speed slashing, Linlin's domineering power was gradually weakened and eventually collapsed. Linlin, be careful, that guy's knife is very fast. The baguette shouted a warning. Charlotte Linlin seemed unheard of. Hey, old man, can you lend me your head? Linlin's eyes were dark and his tone was like a discussion, but the words he spoke were extremely terrifying. Aha! The sword-wielding warrior 5 elders was stunned at first. Then he couldn't help but get furious. But you stinky girl, don't get carried away. Enraged by Linlin's words, the warrior 5 elders attack. His figure was like a ghost, and he disappeared from the spot in an instant. The next time he appeared was in front of Linlin. Kang. The supreme sharp sword first generation Kidetsu cut down without mercy. Not a knife. In a flash. That's hundreds of cuts. In an instant, sparks flew everywhere. Linlin's clothes were in tatters under his blade. But that's all. Even the supreme sharp knife. Linlin's steel balloon body couldn't be cut open either. Naturally, it cannot cause any effective harm to Linlin. People's talents are divided into high and low levels. The talents of the Samurai 5 Elders are definitely not high. As a celestial dragon's, Haki has low talent and poor physical strength. He only has some talent in swordsmanship. So he chose the sword. And he has been concentrating on improving his swordsmanship. Years of practice. The old samurai star focuses on the word, quick. The devil fruit obtained later was also used to help highlight the word, quick. For the veteran samurai star, speed is everything. Everything will be decided by speed. Counting it alone, the power of the sword is 1/10 that of others. So what? Same swing time. Someone else swung a knife. And he can swing 10 or 20 knives. Under the superposition of speed and number of times. He finally honed his sword to a point that could be called terrifying. Killing an opponent often only takes a moment. The other party didn't even react yet. He has already finished cutting. This is the absolute advantage of speed. However, today the Samurai 5 Elders met their opponents. A monster that his sharp knife can't break through no matter what. Facing Charlotte Linlin's naturally invulnerable body of steel. Only fast. There are no other items such as advanced weapons and advanced overlord enchantments. His knife has no effect on the steel balloon Linlin. At most, it can spark a little spark. Also, no wounds. The wound erosion attached to the first generation Kidetsu, the supreme sword, is useless. The other side. Face his extreme speed. Even Linlin couldn't keep up. Smelly old man, you're swinging back and forth so much that it makes my eyes blur. Linlin shouted angrily. The broadsword in his hand danced indiscriminately. HMPH. The old samurai star sneered. I just wanted to sneer. The next second. Linlin's mouth opened wide and he screamed in a strange and piercing voice. Not the mental oppression of Conqueror's Haki. Just regular sound waves. At this time, it is surprisingly effective. The spread of sound waves is undifferentiated. Under the interference of Linlin's strange voice. The head of the old samurai star, who had absolutely no fighting experience, was buzzing. Subconsciously covering his ears in pain, his true form was revealed. Got you. Linlin opened his big hand and patted the old warrior star. Not good. The old samurai star stared 3.0 in shock and anger. The body instinctively started to dodge at a high speed. However, he still couldn't dodge completely. His body was rubbed by Linlin's fingertips. The terrifying power caused him to turn 7,200 degrees in the air and fall 1,200 meters away. Ahem. The crispy warrior old star's body was filled with energy and blood, and he coughed out a mouthful of blood in pain. Well. Linlin stretched out his long legs and wanted to pursue him. Damn it. The old samurai star turned around decisively and ran away quickly without looking back. There is so much bloodline on his body, plus these injuries. Enough is enough. Even running away back to Mariajoy. It's hard for the other 5 elders to accuse him. As for the secrets deep in the city of God, HMPH, no matter who it is, Shirayasha or rocks, if they touch it, they will die. Chapter 132 God Avoids. Divine Burial Hall. The ultimate thing. Open black lens bracket. Please subscribe. Close black lens bracket. Advertise here. The Northern Church of the City of Chaos God. So, I have already said that I sneaked in quietly, can you please stop chasing me? Roger explained carefully and put forward his requirements. The only response he received was the artillery fire from the world government's elite escort army. There is also the ruthless onslaught of the CP Admiral level experts. It's so noisy, I can hardly hear the sound. Roger shouted in dissatisfaction. The supreme sharp sword on his waist, the black sword ace, was unsheathed. There was red light flowing in his eyes. Advanced armament Haki. Premium Conqueror's Haki. Double wrapped around the blade of the black sword ace. Tisk. Red lightning brushed bloom. Roger swung his world-dominating sword at the world government army blocking the road. God avoids. Even gods have to dodge. Not even gods can dodge. One knife comes out. The world was darkened. The next second. Hundreds of world government elites flew into the sky under the terrifying impact. Sky 23 was like a dumpling rain. The screams were endless. People were not the only ones who were lifted up and knocked away by Roger's knife. A layer of land in the city of God was scraped up. The streets were originally neatly paved with bricks and stones. Causes secondary damage to world government's pursuers. At the same time, it plays the role of covering the line of sight. Captain Roger, this way. Taro, who had a Taro-like hairstyle, greeted. Roger's eyes lit up and he quickly moved to join his companions. Under the leadership of Taro, who was best at hiding and seeking, he was able to temporarily escape from the pursuit of the world government. Don't wait for Taro to breathe a sigh of relief. I can hear it again. There. Roger stood up suddenly, came to the south window, and looked to the other side. Captain Roger, don't stand at the window, you will be discovered. Taro is anxious. No. Roger shook his head violently. There is no time to waste here, I must go and see. While talking, Roger climbed out of the window. As expected, he was discovered again by the world government's army. But this time Roger had a clear direction. Move forward impartially. At this moment, the source of the sound Roger heard. A tall figure in white appeared silently. What do you? You. Stop it quickly. Several world government CP elites didn't finish their words. The next second, their heads tilted back without warning. It was like being hit by an invisible sledgehammer. His body staggered, his eyes turned white, and he completely lost consciousness. I see, they are actually hiding here. Those guys from world government are really smart. Roger whispered softly. His eyes swept across the majestic celestial dragon's burial hall in front of him. For what is hidden in this city of gods? The first thing anyone thinks of checking out is the Temple of God in the center of the city. The world government has also deployed a large amount of combat power there. Among them are 4 admiral-level combatants. So guard against death. Most people would think that it is the real treasure place. Roger thought so too at first. But after approaching the Temple of God, the intermittent fuzzy voice appeared again. It is a sound that can only be heard by those who have the ability to listen to the sounds of all things. On this island, only he and Roger could hear it. Roger decisively abandoned the Temple of God. Follow the guidance of that mysterious voice. What we finally arrived at was the sparsely populated Celestial Dragon's Divine Burial Hall. Also known as the Burial House of God. It means that the creation god and his descendants are buried 800 years ago. Roger saw and heard that the colors diverged, and he quickly found the entrance mechanism. He stepped forward and came to a huge sphinx. Kick out. The sphinx turned over. Click, click, click. Snap. It sounds like a buckle popping open. The floor paved with gold bricks opens on its own. A deep and quiet tunnel appeared, like a tunnel leading directly to the 9 Netherworld. Not a trace of hesitation. Roger walked straight in. The dark corridor. I can't see my fingers. On the walls on both sides of the road, little bits of faint fluorescence flickered in and out. Roger has a spring in his step. Better than taking a leisurely stroll. There is no sense of being in the most secret place in the world. This is out of confidence in one's own strength. No matter what trap the world government sets. He was completely fearless. Unfortunately, world government did not give him a chance to develop. Along the way, there is no common trap in large tombs. Roger, who originally wanted to experience the career of a golden captain, was disappointed. I don't know how much time has passed. The underground tunnel seems to be endless and bottomless. As it goes down, the temperature in the air drops rapidly. Underneath, the aura that could be called a monster intensified. It was as if Roger was really approaching the 9 Netherworld. Finally, after crossing who knows how many steps, Roger finally approached the bottom of the underground palace. Go over the last set of stairs. The front suddenly becomes clear. A magnificent and huge underground palace then appeared in front of Roger. This underground palace seems not to be inhabited by humans, but a palace of giants. Raging. With the arrival of Roger, the blue flames lit up one by one. Form a special pattern. It's like a welcome. It seems to be sending some kind of signal from 360. Roger continued to walk in the magnificent hall. Go all the way to the end. There is nothing but an empty giant throne. Is it too late that the top secret items here have been moved? Roger couldn't help but frown and thought. No. Soon, he shook his head again. If it can be transferred. World government shifted as early as 50 years ago, or even 800 years ago. There is no safer place in the world than the holy land of Mariajoy. If it were something important enough to turn the world upside down. It is impossible for the world government and I am not to take it to Mariajoy, and they have to spend a huge amount of troops to guard this isolated island for generations. Where? Roger closed his eyes and searched for the site inch by inch. Nothing was found. At this time, the mysterious voice appeared again. Roger suddenly looked up. Finally, his eyes were fixed on the ultimate thing hidden by world government. No more above ground, but in the air. Observation hockey is not catchable. Even the human eye can be deceived and unable to capture it immediately. But, no matter how hidden it is. After all, Roger saw it. Then, let me take a closer look at the hidden things on this island. Chapter 133. Devil Fruit Tree. Uranus Time Space Strike. Open black lens bracket. Please subscribe. Close black lens bracket. Advertise here. This is a cube. Square and sharp-edged. The area in front of me goes against the laws of nature. Overcoming gravity and suspended in midair. A hexagonal object with no real sense of existence. There is no doubt about it. This is the treasure of this god's island. The ultimate has been hidden by the world government for 800 years. Look at what's in front of you. The first thing that came to Roger's mind was this historical article. But there is no written description on it. Dang. Observed for a while, Roger finally couldn't help but knock on the stone with his hand. What it made was a clanging sound like the collision of gold and iron. Still no reaction at all. Roger made a fist and shot it down. When one. This time it was like the sound of a yellow bell ringing. Withstood Roger's punch. The 4 stones are still intact. Sturdier than expected. Roger nodded. He clenched his fist again. There is a bright light blooming on the fist. This time. He no longer had any reservations. All the 300,000 points of power that broke through the extreme realm were poured onto the mysterious stone. Weird things happen. Withstood Roger's full blow. The stone didn't make any sound this time. Of course, there is still no damage. It was as if all the power and sound of Roger's previous punch had been completely swallowed up. Roger's eyes narrowed slightly. Vaguely. The stones appear to be transparent. Interesting. Roger grinned. Fists that could shatter an island fell like raindrops. Arrived later. Roger even triggered his own shock fruit, thunder fruit. The true meaning of shaking, the true meaning of thunder, all in unison. Finally, under Roger's persistent blow, the surface of the dead stone glowed with light, gradually becoming different. Gradually, the side facing Roger was outlined by an inexplicable light. A towering tree slowly emerged. The uncle's tree trunk is twisted and intertwined. It seems to be a gathering of countless ghosts. There are strange shaped fruits on the branches of the big tree. Some are still growing, some fall off when mature. Landed at the foot of the tree. Wow, the waves swept over. Devour the devil fruit and go with the flow. Passing through sea areas and islands. Waiting to be picked up by a lucky person. As this, the devil fruit tree. Roger's pupils shrank suddenly. Although he was not sure yet, he couldn't help being greatly shocked. The big tree with devil fruit growing on it is, of course, the devil fruit tree. It's just that this knowledge point is not within the knowledge of Roger, the time traveler. Before he crossed over, the origin of devil fruit has not been revealed. Now he seemed to have access to the secret of his own accord. In some corner of this world, there really is a devil fruit tree. Continuously produce strange devil fruit one after another. After the person with the ability dies, the ability returns to the tree, bears fruit, matures, and falls off again, completing a reincarnation. There is also the sea represented on the stone. It is simply a complete sea chart. Describes the journey of mature devil fruit. Master this. The world government has a head start in finding devil fruit. No wonder, in this sea, devil fruit's ability is so rare. It's not just the scarcity of numbers. It's even more because they were harvested in advance by the government. Certainly, even with the guidance of the trajectory chart, it is impossible for the world government to collect all the devil fruit. After all, the sea is vast. There must be many more people on the ocean than the world government's fruit search team. It is not a good thing to be cut off by a lucky person first. But, it's scary to think about it. After so many years. How many devil fruits does the world government hide? When necessary, world government can create top-level capable people in batches in the shortest possible time and maintain its rule. This is one of the foundations of world government. Be cautious, you are right. Roger nodded solemnly. The image of the devil fruit tree in front of me was dim. The other side adjacent to it suddenly lights up. Roger quickly changed directions. Then what appeared in front of him was a piece of Book of Heaven. Even though Grandmaster Roger spoke dozens of languages, he could only stare. I felt overwhelmed by the tadpole essay in front of me. No doubt, this is an ancient text, and the time of its existence. Even earlier than this historical article. There is absolutely no way to interpret it. Sudden, Roger's ears twitched. The stones in front of me made a sound. Open black lens bracket Old Testament. Devil, contract. Close black lens bracket. Roger pricked up his ears and listened carefully. However, only a few phrases can be heard. After that everything fell silent. At the same time, another stone wall glows. Roger was about to change directions. The next second, Roger suddenly looked up. Somewhere. A huge crisis hit me. Roger's dozens of trillions of cells all over his body felt a tingling sensation like needle pricks. This is a real disaster. At this moment, Island of Gods, Overlord and Admiral battlefields. At some point, the fierce fighting came to an abrupt end. The Overlord of the Sea, Rocks, Admiral Kong, and Marshal Raymond looked up at the sky in unison. A hole opened in the dark sky, filled with endless evil aura and murderous intent. The gap gradually widened. Straight to the sky, massive dark clouds condensed into Uzumaki, slowly flowing. At the end of the infinite sky, a bright colorful light shines. It releases a terrifying aura that seems to annihilate even the world. Under the shock of that breath, even Rocks, the Overlord of the Sea, is trembling involuntarily. The expressions of Admiral Kong and Marshal Raymond changed drastically. My mouth was wide open and I couldn't say a word. Even the top combat power in this battlefield is like this. Not to mention ordinary sailors and pirates. Wang Wang's under that aura that destroys heaven and earth. People all collapsed to the ground involuntarily. City of God, with the help of the terrifying aura in the dark. Roger finally got rid of the pursuit of the little tails. Roger, where are you taking me? Newgate shouted. Don't ask, just follow me. If my guess is right, the teacher is probably already there. Roger said. Dad is here too. Then what are you waiting for? Hurry up. Newgate quickly quickened his pace and passed Roger. Then, the gorgeous, lost. Alas, wait a moment, you got sidetracked. Roger quickly grabbed Newgate. That's where we're going. Roger pointed in the direction of the Divine Burial Hall. But he didn't wait until he finished speaking. Boom. The bright light of destruction crashed down from the 9 heavens. Boom. Everything turns to dust. Chapter 134 I am extinguishing the lamp. 5 elders celebrate. Rocks thanks. Open black lens bracket please subscribe close black lens bracket. Advertise here. A time-space fixed point strike descends on the island of gods. The bright beam of light was like the calamity light of the 9 heavens. Starting from the distant sanctuary of Mariajoy. Flying across the sky, arriving with precision, destroying everything in the world. Let all dust return to dust, and dust return to dust. Holy place Mariajoy, among the flowers. Ta-ta, clear, ethereal footsteps echoed. Lights. Kill. I am, the king of the world, wearing a crown and a cape trailing to the ground, returned to his throne, closing his eyes and meditating. 5 elders, meeting hall. Cheers. The other 5 elders except the old samurai star opened a bottle of 500-year-old wine. Clink glasses elegantly and drink happily. No matter what, this is our victory. Although it is a pity to lose something that I finally found, it is still better than falling into the hands of others. That's right. I just don't know who the national treasure hit this time. Rocks or that Shirayasha. I prefer it to be Shiro Yakusha. Alas, it's still a little late after all. Otherwise, the entire island of gods will be wiped out. That's it. It's better to avoid it. Not to mention that there are still our compatriots there. If the main force of Marine is completely destroyed there, it will be extremely detrimental to us. This is the best result now. 263 No matter whether it is Rocks or Shiro Yakusha who is wiped out, the person who survives should also clearly know how small an individual's power is in the face of our absolute power. That's right. After I trust them, I don't dare to make another mistake easily. This time travel strike is more important than eradication, but it is to shock. Ha 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 ha. The 5 elders talked about it, and in the end they all laughed happily. Let us toast to victory once again. At this moment. Island of gods. The vibrations, like the sky falling and the earth falling, gradually stopped. The buzzing sound between heaven and earth dispersed. The dazzling light that annihilates everything is eliminated. Heaven and earth return to clarity. Only the rough waves are still lapping at the shore. All over the island, the faces of the sailors and pirates all showed the fear of surviving a disaster. Did we survive? What the hell was that thing before? Is that because God is angry? Besides, where did that attack come from? It's really terrible. My body is still shaking, CDBC, uncontrollably. The battlefield of the Overlord and the Admiral, the Marshal. Marshal Raymond. Then, could it be? Admiral Kong's pupils suddenly shrank, and a look of horror could not be suppressed on his face. There is nothing wrong. Only the Holy Land Mariajoy can have such a method. Marshal Raymond took several deep breaths and spoke solemnly. Damn it, what do those guys from world government want to do? Do you want to kill the pirates and us together? Admiral Kong roared in anger. No. It's not right. The person who answered was not the Marshal, but the Overlord Rocks. That was just a targeted attack on one area. Maybe someone triggered the trap left by the world government. Rocks, mouth curled up in amusement. You bastard, Rocks, what the hell do you mean? Kong's uneasiness increased. I really have to thank that bastard Shirayasha. You worked so hard to help me out of the thunder. At the same time, I also want to thank you. If you hadn't been holding me back, I might have been hit by that attack, and even I might have been wiped out. Lahahaha. Rocks laughed happily. Asshole, Rocks. Kong's eyes were bloodshot. His defense was completely broken by Rocks' words. Because what Rocks said does make sense. That trap set by the world government. It was only 2 people who were on guard from beginning to end. One of them is Rocks. Now that Rocks is entangled with them. The explosive mine was apparently struck by another person. You promised to die for me. Isn't it exactly the other way around? Marshal Raymond smiled bitterly. Under this heavy blow. The injuries he had been suppressing for so long exploded. Raymond spat out a mouthful of black blood, and his breath quickly became weak. Ha 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 ha. It seems that even if I don't take action, you old guy Raymond won't be able to hold on for long. Forget it. I just happen to be tired of it, so let's officially go treasure hunting. Even the world government will never destroy its own treasures. That, ultimate, is something that belongs to me after all. Rocks grinned. He immediately turned around and wanted to leave. Don't even think about escaping. As long as I'm here, I will never let you succeed. The dark-armed air around Kong boiled and condensed on his fist. Hit Rocks with a steel fist that dominates the world. Rocks don't dodge. Use your own body to withstand Kong's full blow. A wisp of blood dripped from the corner of his mouth. However, the curvature of the corners of Rocks' mouth widened further. Kong, your hockey seems to be a bit insufficient. Rocks spoke quietly. The right hand landed on Kong's chest seemingly at random. Smash. Poof. Poof. Dazzling bloody light exploded. Marshal Raymond tried his best to summon thunder. Interrupts Rocks. Spellcasting. Only then did Kong finally save Kong after many dangers. It didn't cause him to break into pieces or die on the spot. But the deep-seated scars are unavoidable. Even Admiral Kong has completely lost his combat power at this moment. Mr. Empty. A vigorous roar came from not far away. That was the Iron Fist Vice Admiral Garp fighting against Rock's 1st and 2nd Army commanders. Witnessing Admiral's collapse, Garp's eyes were bloodshot. Trying to withstand the heavy blows from John and Silver Axe. Return to defense immediately and stand in front of Admiral and Marshal. I will be your opponent from now on, Rocks. Garp roared. Ha 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 ha, he's just a brat, forget it, Lousy doesn't have time to tangle with you now. Rocks laughed. His eyes fell on John and Silver Axe. Looking at the embarrassed two people, he couldn't help but raise his eyebrows slightly. He faced 2 Legion commanders alone, plus the combat power of 1 Legion. To be able to fight to this extent, Yinpu's strength is stronger than he imagined. Maybe he will be a good opponent. Rocks thought so. Then he shook his head again. John, Silver Axe, don't pay attention to Marine. Next, gather the entire army and go to that city for the final finishing touches. Chapter 135 Soul Fruit and Phantom Beast Blue Dragon Fruit. Please subscribe. Advertise here. John, Silver Axe, let's go to that city for the final finishing touches. Yes, Captain Rocks, Silver Axe responded with a deep voice. Huh, this is really great. Captain John nodded with lingering fear. Played with Garp for 3 hours. He was really scared. He and Silver Axe knew better than anyone else how powerful Garp was. This is a monster through and through. Even if he is surrounded by a large army, he can still fight his way out with his iron fists. During the battle with them, there's even assistance, someone else to spare. Even if you continue to fight, there is a high probability that both he and Silver Axe will be unable to hold on and fall under Garp's iron fist. This is Vice Admiral, a monster that is not beneath Kong. If possible, they don't want to meet him again. Now listen to Rocks, rallying orders. They were busy drinking. Kurozumi Higurashi, Kurozumi Semimaru, please inform the other corps commanders. John ordered to 2 old men in black kimonos. Yes, Lord John. The 2 people who escaped from Wanokuni Kurozumi's family should retreat. Shortly after, the battlefield between the giant Buddha and the flying lion. It's bad, Sengoku Vice Admiral, because of Liu Kong Admiral died in the battle. A sea soldier, who was covered in blood and scarred, screamed heartbreakingly at the top of his lungs. What did you say? Big Buddha Sengoku's eyes widened with anger. Listen to the news conveyed by the sailors. The emotion called fear suddenly invaded the whole body. The battlefield of the strong. Even a momentary loss of concentration can be fatal. Jia ha 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 ha. Golden Lion Shiki laughed and appeared behind the Buddha. 2 famous swords, Sakura Ten and Muku, pierced into the body of the Buddha without mercy. Blood splattered. The big Buddha Sengoku fell helplessly. Returned to human form. The 2 deep penetrating wounds on his body were shocking. Ha 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 ha. Liren's ability is so useful. The sea soldier, who was weak a second ago, suddenly started dancing at this moment. Snapped. He slapped himself in the face. The face of the colonel that Sengoku was originally familiar with was no longer there. What? It turns out to be Kurozumi Higurashi, you are so nosy. Golden Lion Shiki pretended to be dissatisfied. Don't say that, Master Shiki, it's actually Captain Rocks, order to assemble. Kurozumi Higurashi explains. Jia ha 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 ha, it's Captain Rocks' order, so there's nothing we can do about it. Then let's start the final finishing touches. Golden Lion Shiki grinned. The raised right hand suddenly clenched. Boom 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 boom. The island was shaken violently. Ho 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 ho. 9 ferocious lion heads emerged from the ground in a row, roaring towards the sky. I enjoyed this fight with you, but it's over, Sengoku. Lion Majesty, Earth coiling. Boom. With the roar of Golden Lion Shiki. 9 Earth lions pressed down on Sengoku. Boom. Jia ha 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 ha, let's go. Another battlefield. Something bad happened. Zephyr Vice Admiral, the empty Admiral. Admiral was killed. Kurozumi Higurashi repeats his old tricks. Trying to interfere with Zephyr's battle with Akoku. However, the same moves have different effects when used on different people. How is this possible? That's Sora Admiral. Zephyr turns anger into power. Black Arm becomes more and more fierce. Kurozumi Higurashi was stunned. The next second, Jung. The sound of Pippa sounded. An old man with white eyebrows walked slowly to the battlefield holding a Pippa. No matter what kind of attack, it is useless under my magic. The words fell. Kurozumi Semimaru made a special gesture with his hands. Paramesh's barrier fruit ability is activated. Absolute defense, generated. When Zephyr's black arm struck the barrier with one blow. Makes a crisp sound. However, it was unable to cause any damage to the barrier. Kurozumi, why are you intervening in my fight? Akoku spoke coldly. Lord Akoku, this is Captain Rock's order. Kurozumi Higurashi explained quickly. So let me use my magic to block it here. Akoku-sama, please hurry up and join Captain Rocks. Kurozumi Semimaru said. Then I'll leave it to you. Akoku didn't insist and turned to leave. Asshole, don't even think about running away. Zephyr shouted angrily. Fists fell like raindrops. However, it is still unable to shake the barrier at all. Boom. There was a loud bang. A golden light shines hundreds of meters away. The man-made Lion Mountain exploded. 10 minutes later. Garp, Sengoku, Zephyr, and Xiaohei gathered together. Please give me flowers. Looking at Admiral Kong, who was seriously injured and unconscious. Look again at the place where the light of destruction came not long ago. All four of them had heavy hearts and gloomy expressions on their faces. Go, Marine's future depends on you. Marshal Raymond shouted in a deep voice. Yes, Garp, Sengoku, Zephyr, and Xiaohei all responded in unison. Take the remaining Marine elites and rush to the final battlefield. City of God, a settlement of celestial dragons. The corpses of the world's government elites are piling up. Rivers of blood flowed. Come on, this is the treasure house of celestial dragons. We found the treasure house of celestial dragons. The blonde leopard print girl Miss Bajan dives into the mountain of gold and grabs it to her heart's content. Is there something Captain Rox is looking for here? Little brother, Kaido thought about it. Linlin, look what I found. Bao Bao handed the 2 boxes to Charlotte Linlin like a show-off. However, Linlin seemed unaware. His eyes were just looking at the place where the beam of light fell not long ago. Linlin, big sister head, at the call of Baguette and Kaido. Linlin shook his head and finally came to his senses. Linlin, look, there are 2 devil fruits, and they are heavily sealed by the world government. They must be good things. Would you like to try it? Longbread encouraged. Linlin took out 2 devil fruits from the box. One pink, one blue. One is like a pineapple, and the other is obviously zone-shaped. Well, devil fruit, they say it tastes bad, but I haven't tried it yet. It's really curious. Charlotte Linlin's eyes flashed slightly. Just a brief hesitation. She just made the decision. Rather than stay away from the cheaper rocks pirate others. It's better to digest it yourself. Think of this. Linlin didn't hesitate anymore. Bring the fruit of your left hand to your mouth. Mouth wide open. About to bite. She quickly switched to the right again. Swallow the pineapple whole. It really tastes bad, but. Linlin closed his eyes and carefully sensed his new ability. Linlin, what ability did you get? Longbread asked curiously. Paramesha, soul fruit. Whisper. Chapter 136 Uranus. Demon. Rox was shocked and speechless. Open black lens bracket. Please subscribe. Close black lens bracket. Advertise here. Ahem. 2 mouthfuls of blood spurted out. The bluestone floor was dyed red. Roger and Newgate. 2 strong men standing at the top of the world pyramid. At this moment, his clothes were in rags, his body was stained with blood, and he was in a miserable state. All because of the calamity light that fell from the sky previously. Even if you are just on the edge of the robbery, it's just unfortunate that it was affected. It still caused them considerable trauma. Chi and blood surged in the body. If they weren't strong enough. For an ordinary person, even if it is only affected, it is enough to kill dozens of times. But at this moment, either Roger or Newgate, they no longer care about the physical trauma. They used their hands and feet to stagger forward. A few gravels fell into the abyss under their guidance, and there was no sound of 083 hitting the bottom. Looking at the bottomless pit with a radius of 1 kilometer in front of me. The expressions on the faces of Roger and Newgate gradually became dull. What exactly is going on? Newgate couldn't help but scream, and he grabbed Roger's collar with his backhand. Hey, Roger, is it true that you said Daddy was over there earlier? Is Daddy really here? Newgate's eyes were red, like a wild beast that wanted to devour someone. I don't know, I really don't know. Roger held his head in pain as well. Teacher Roger, please, answer me. Newgate and Roger fell to their knees, roaring at the top of their lungs. Hope someone can respond to them. For a long time. Just when the 2 of them almost wanted to give up. Yo, a soft voice sounded behind them without warning. Roger, Newgate, what are you 2 boys doing here, howling like ghosts? Roger greeted with a smile. Roger and Newgate both froze. Then he suddenly turned around. Wait until you see the familiar face behind you. Many positive emotions such as excitement, joy, excitement, etc. suddenly appeared on their faces. The person behind him seemed to be a beam of light, bringing light to them who were trapped in darkness. Dad, teacher Roger, you are not dead. Roger and Newgate stumbled to Roger. Snapped. Roger raised his hand angrily and slapped Roger on the forehead. Who are you cursing to death? That's right, Roger, you bastard, who are you cursing? How could Dad die? Newgate echoed. Ahahaha, my fault. Roger laughed and rubbed the back of his head in embarrassment. There was still a trace of worry between his brows and eyes. Unlike Newgate, who was immersed in joy. Although Roger is usually silly, he is always witty at critical moments. Just like now, even though Roger is no different from usual. But he still felt it keenly. Roger's true state is not as carefree as it appears. But since Roger didn't show it in front of these disciples, Roger wouldn't go out of his way to expose it. Just as Roger expected, Roger's current condition is not good. World government's decisive blow. A space-time strike that spanned the sea. Even Roger didn't expect it. He wanted to escape, but even the space was blocked. Without any choice, Roger could only resist the fatal blow from the Celestial Dragon's national treasure. Picked up 80 years of properties in Impel Down. There are few attacks in this world that can make Roger lose blood. In Roger's estimation, even if he stands still and does not defend, Rox, the overlord of the sea in his heyday, can launch a power awakening attack. At most, it can make Roger lose 1/3 of his blood. Roger's health bar remained at 99 tubes and 2/3. In contrast, the national treasure of world government is much more cruel. Roger's 99 blood bars evaporated in an instant. Today, only less than a third is left. Fortunately, the last third is more listenable. Only then did Roger finally survive the Uranus's space-time attack, with many dangers. Certainly, crisis and opportunity always coexist. This time Roger encountered the biggest life and death crisis in 80 years. But the harvest is equally huge. After taking the blow from Uranus, he received 2 legendary attribute cards above gold. 1. Uranus. Regarding the role of this property, Roger still doesn't know yet. But he knows. Next time, I might be able to withstand Uranus's blow without getting hurt. There is also a second type. Devil. Roger didn't understand it even more. But it can be somewhat guessed. There is a high probability that the stone fell under the annihilation blast of Uranus. The stones were missing. Roger doesn't have the energy to look for it now, so that's all. As for the use of the demon attribute, Roger can only explore it later. Now even his body needs to rest and recover from the bleeding. Fortunately, over the past 80 years, Roger gained many 5-flower 8-gate abilities. The LV3 Paramesha healing fruit ability now plays an important role. In addition, there are those ordinary zone abilities that Roger hates to see the most and doesn't even want to waste the improvement at all. At this moment, under the action of the system, it is decomposed into special energy matter. While accelerating self-healing and recovery, it also offsets and eliminates the remaining power of Uranus. Breathe in and out. Roger's breath gradually calmed down. Everything is going in the right direction. At this time, la ha 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 ha. The wanton, arrogant, crazy laughter came from far and near. Led by Rox, the main character of Ocean Fighter 3.3. Legion Commander John, Silver Axe, Akoku, and more pirates from the Rox Corps arrived at full speed. Arrive at the 1,000-meter bottomless pit. Holy shit. What exactly is going on? This hole was made by the attack just now. What kind of terrifying power is that? Even gods will be obliterated. The pirates of the Rox group opened their eyes wide and screamed in horror. Rox, the overlord of the sea, just glanced at the bottomless pit. The next second he suddenly turned around. Target 3 people hundreds of meters away. Waiting to see Roger still there. Even Rox, the overlord of the sea, could not help but shrink his pupils at this moment. There was extreme shock, horror and disbelief on his face. Roger Shirayasha, you bastard, you're still alive. Chapter 137 Newgate was bullied. Roger takes action. Open black lens bracket. Please subscribe close black lens bracket. Advertise here. Bastard Yasha, you survived. The overlord of the sea, Rox, screamed in shock and disbelief, echoing under the sky. It instantly attracted everyone's attention. Shirayasha. Roger Shirayasha. That man is Director Impel Down. Shiro Yasha, the legendary hero of the past era. Gudong. Hey, is it true? According to the captain, shouldn't that Shiro Yaksha have withstood the previous blow? Why is he still alive? Akoku, commander of the Third Army, realized the problem. He was also caught in the same shock and disbelief as Rox. This kind of thing, how is it possible? Absolutely impossible. That is simply not a force that humans can bear. If anyone can survive such an attack, I'm afraid it's only God. Second Legion Commander Silver Axe murmured in shock. Then there is only one possibility left. John, the commander of the First Army, had a dark look in his eyes. The previous attack didn't hit the man at all. He escaped before the attack came. Gia ha 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 ha. With unruly laughter, the golden lion Shiki arrives from the sky. But I'm more inclined to think that he survived those 23 attacks. If this is the case, it will be easy to deal with that Shiro Yaksha now. Golden Lion Shiki sneered. Perhaps it is possible, as Shiki said, that there seems to be something wrong with Shirayasha's condition. Akoku also discovered a clue. If it's true or false, then let's try it. Silver Axe's eyes fell on Newgate. Hey, Newgate, what are you doing standing there? Why don't you give that guy a quickie? Yes, Newgate, as the commander of the 5th Legion of our regiment, now is your opportunity to make a contribution. John was bossy, but Newgate was as if he had never heard of it. Gia ha 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 ha, it's better not to waste your efforts. Shiki, what do you mean? Everyone's eyes were fixed on Golden Lion. Because Newgate and that Shiro Yaksha are a team, they have been a team since a long time ago. That Shiro Yaksha is the father of that guy in Newgate. Golden Lion Shiki revealed this earth-shattering secret with a teasing smile. As his words fell, the whole place couldn't help but fall into silence. The next second, the whole place was fried. What a joke. That Shiro Yaksha is Newgate's father. Is Newgate the man's son? I have never heard of such a thing. The commander of the Third Army and more pirates were shocked and in an uproar. Even the overlord of the sea, Rox, couldn't help but have a strange look on his face. It was also the first time for him to hear about this secret. Hey, Newgate, are you giving up your integrity? Don't forget the oath you made after losing to me. Rox said teasingly. Of course I won't forget it. Newgate was finally silent no longer. He stood up slowly and looked at Rox 100 meters away with burning eyes. Benevolence and righteousness are what I want, and my family is what I want. If I can't have both, I will always have only one choice, and that is my family. Newgate said firmly. Ha 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 ha. People who have lost their benevolence and righteousness are worse than garbage and bed bugs in this sea. Rox sarcastically said. Bug Newgate. Newgate is rubbish. Betrayers who abandon benevolence and righteousness, go to death. All kinds of criticisms came and went. Listening to all kinds of dirty words from the pirates. The look on Newgate's face was unmoved. No matter how stimulated Rox's pirate was, it could not shake his firm heart. Newgate was able to respond calmly to the pirates' abuse. But Roger would not remain indifferent. The son was bullied but remained silent. This is definitely not a qualified parent. Boom. Invisible conquerors spread like a tidal wave. Capture and cover all pirates including Rox. All of a sudden, the pirates' curses suddenly stopped. Beads of sweat as big as peas seeped out from the pirates' foreheads unconsciously. Locked under the air machine that was like the will of the gods. They felt as if they were ducks whose throats were strangled, unable to make a single sound. The emotion called ultimate fear instantly dominated their whole bodies. La ha 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 ha. Unbridled, crazy laughter broke out. The overlord of the sea, Rox, trembled. The horror of conquerors spread. Withstand Roger's conqueror's blast. Fight against each other and divide the world equally. What, isn't this still movable? It's just that your hockey strength is far worse now than before. Rox looked at Roger with a sneer. Roger looked calm and stood up slowly. Rox kid, no matter how weak I am, I'm still more than enough to deal with you. Whether it was 50 years ago or now, it's the same. Roger smiled. What did you say? Rox frowned. I was angered by Roger's mere words. Not because of the amount of ridicule in this sentence. It was because Roger reminded him of what happened 50 years ago. In order to protect the Dark Uranus Beckett, he volunteered to intercept Roger. However, he was kicked away by Roger. From beginning to end. Roger never even looked at him seriously. This was the most humiliating experience in his life. It is also the pain of his life. It can never be washed away. Now, after meeting Roger again after 50 years. The memory of this humiliation became increasingly clear. Anger surged through Rox. Kaka. The atmosphere around it trembled without warning. A series of crisscrossing cracks loomed. The atmosphere shattered and healed. It represents the intensity of anger inside Rox at this moment. You actually pissed off Captain Rox, you're done. John said, quietly retreating. Gia ha 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 ha, 50 years of entanglement, interesting. Golden Lion Shiki laughed and flew up into the sky. Okay, Roger Shireyasha. Rox, voice gradually deepened. The grudges of 50 years ago are settled today. Soon you will know how powerful I am now. Rox grinned, 2 rows of fangs flashing with a cold light. The next second, a black cold light flashed. A sharp black blade flashed past. Cut open the body of Rox, the overlord of the sea. Rox, I don't need Teacher Roger to take action personally to deal with you, I am enough. Roger grinned confidently. Chapter 138 Garp Roger joins forces. Fight for the teacher. Open black lens bracket please subscribe close black lens bracket. Advertise here. If the master has something to do, the disciple will do his best. Now is the time for me, as a disciple, to take action. Roger believed so strongly that he cut him off with a knife. The flying slash that entangled Conqueror's hockey cut off Rox's shoulder. However, it was strange that there was no trace of blood splashing. Rox's chopped off shoulder soon flew back on its own accord and merged with his body. This is the most basic ability of Chop Chop Fruit. Immune to all slashing attacks. It's no use at all, bastard Roger. Rox rolled his neck. Of course I know this kind of thing. It was no surprise that Roger carried a black knife on his shoulder. I have been struggling in the new world for so many years. Of course, Roger is aware of Rox's ability. The two sides have clashed more than once in the past. Teacher. Roger turned around and asked Roger for a fight. There's no need to trouble the teacher to deal with this opponent personally. Rox can be dealt with by me. Roger finished speaking. The Rox group pirates fell silent once again. What did I hear before? What did I hear before? That bastard Roger, what did you call that man? Teacher. Did I hear that right? That Shiro Yaksha is Roger's teacher. Not only Newgate, but even Roger is that man's disciple. The pirates were shocked and talking. Ha 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 ha, that's it. Roger, you bastard, you are also a disciple of Shiro Yaksha. Rox suddenly smiled and laughed. No wonder I've always disliked you since before. Genji is here. Today is really my lucky day. All my enemies are gathered together, so I can solve them all at once. Boom. The terrifying aura full of rage once again emanated from Rox. Not Conqueror's hockey. Just pure murderous intention and evil spirit. Rushing up from behind, a ghost-like shadow formed. Come on, Rox. Roger showed no sign of weakness. The battle is about to break out. At this time, wait a minute. A loud shout came from the distant sky. Swish. Several figures jumped along the ruins of the City of Gods. It didn't take long to arrive at the venue. The great cloak symbolizing justice is hunting in the wind. Roger, you bastard, what are you talking about? Rox, this bastard, is the one I want to deal with. Garp strode forward and stood in front of Roger. Garp, how the hell are you talking to your senior brother? Roger scolded. What did you say? Garp's eyebrows were raised. Don't make any mistake, Roger, I am the senior brother. Nani, do you understand the principle of first come, first served? Roger refused to give in. Listening to the bickering between the two senior brothers. John, Silver Axe, Akoku and more of the Rock's crew were once again shocked to the point of being speechless. The pirates Roger and Marine Garp were both disciples of that Shiro Yasha. This is a trilogy of heroes, no. The pirates' eyes immediately fell on Sengoku, Zephyr and Xiaohei. Look at their respectful attitude towards Roger. A bold idea came to people's minds. Captain Rox. Captain John's Adam's apple rolled hard. Could it be that those guys are all disciples of that white yaksha? Rocks are silent. Silence does not mean fear. On the contrary. An expression of excitement gradually appeared on his face. After learning that Roger is Roger's disciple, he was pleasantly surprised. Dark Uranus Beckett once told him to kill the disciples trained by Roger. Rox has never forgotten this. It's just that he never knew who Roger's disciple was. Now the target finally appears. And it's Roger who already has old grudges. It's like killing two birds with one stone. When Garp also appeared, he showed his identity as a disciple. Rox felt his inner joy doubled. Because this is already killing 3 birds with 1 stone. Now looking at more disciples. Rox, inner surprise has doubled. Captain Rox, Silver Axe and Akoku looked at Rox questioningly. La ha 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 ha. Rox finally couldn't hold back his inner ecstasy and laughed out loud. Esbarasi. It's really Esbarasi. By Yaksha, I will bury these disciples of yours unceremoniously today. It's you who will be buried today. Rox. The light of fists and swords illuminated the dark sky. Garp and Roger both shouted and attacked. The fierce battle begins again here. Young ones, we are right too. Captain John shouted. Lead thousands of Rock's pirate elites to attack. Roger stood up. Teacher, please sit down and rest obediently. He placed his slender hands on Roger's shoulders and shook his head seriously. Teacher Roger, leave this to us. Zephyr's fists clashed, and the armed air flow escaped. Zephyr, you should be able to continue fighting. Sengoku asked. It doesn't matter even if I fight for another day and night. Zephyr is full of momentum. Then come on. Sengoku and Zephyr attack. Jia ha ha ha. John, Silver Axe, Akoku, let's take down those 2 bastards Sengoku and Zephyr first. Golden Lion Shiki proposed with a laugh. I think so too. John smiled slyly. Pirates never talk about martial ethics. Able to win easily in group fights. Naturally, it is the best thing. Although Newgate had surrendered to the enemy, because of the word benevolence and righteousness, he had no intention of actively participating in the war at this time, and just stayed in front of Roger. This way, 4 against 2, they have absolutely no reason to lose. Captain John laughed slyly, attacking Zephyr who was attacked from both sides. Want to solve Zephyr in the shortest possible time. At this time, only a decent crisp sound was heard. A long knife came out across the sky, stopped Captain John's western sword. Swish, swish, swish. Dark axes flew. There was a violent collision with the Second Army Commander's Silver Axe. Pluton Silver Rayleigh. Copper, well done, Jabba. John and Silver Axe recognized the person and couldn't help shouting in anger. Ha ha ha, and there are us. Taro, Spencer, Colonel Mu Lien, Fishman Sunbell, Giant Sequel and other core members of the Roger Regiment came out of the alleyway to stop the pirates of the Rocks Regiment. Roger pirates. This has nothing to do with you. Golden Lion Shiki roared angrily. It doesn't matter. Rayleigh smiled slightly. How can it be? Jabba laughed. The captain has already joined the war, how can we remain indifferent? All Roger Regiment cadres said in unison. Roger, I didn't ask for your favor, so I won't thank you. Garp yelled. That's just right, we don't need Marines' thanks. Roger responded. Today is a once-in-a-lifetime exception. Let's fight for the teacher together. Oh. Chapter 139 Newgate's Determination. Xiaohei's Tears. Open black lens bracket. Please subscribe close black lens bracket. Advertise here. With the help of the core leaders of Roger Pirates. The pressure on Sengoku and Zephyr suddenly eased. You can concentrate on facing off against your old rivals. Sengoku still faced Golden Lion Shiki. Zephyr is Akoku, the commander of the 3rd Legion. The opponents of John and the commanders of the Silver Axe Legion became Rayleigh and Jabba. In a fierce battle with Garp, John and Silver Axe, who were still in full health, were naturally no match for Rayleigh and Jabba, who were full of health. Those who were killed were retreating steadily, and with the interference and assistance of their small cadres, they regained their strength and managed to maintain a balance. Also, the 7 senior officials of the Roger Regiment, including Taro, Mu Lien, and Sunbell, were united at this moment. It is both offensive and defensive, like an iron wall, blocking the attack of Rock's pirates. However, the difference in numbers of hundreds of times is still too big after all. Even the senior officials of the Roger Regiment rely on Tianqian joint defense. After all, he couldn't stop all the pirates. White Yaksha's head is mine. Come on, this is your chance to make a name for yourself. No one can stop it. The pirates laughed wantonly and wildly. Sudden, an overwhelming clicking sound rang in the pirates' ears. The smiles on their faces faltered. Look around. Looking at the surrounding atmosphere, it was shattered like a mirror. The pupils of the pirates 170 shrank suddenly and turned pale in horror. Newgate, you bastard Newgate, what are you going to do? We are partners. Are you really going to abandon your benevolence and righteousness? Stop, Legion Commander. Click. What responded to them was an increasingly dense fragmented atmosphere. No matter who dares to speak rudely to Dad, I will never allow this kind of thing. Newgate stopped drinking coldly. The long-handled naginata was swung down brazenly, sweeping forward with unparalleled vibration. In an instant, dozens or hundreds of pirates flew into the sky. Duh. Newgate strode forward. The long-handled naginata carved a ravine in front of him. This line is not allowed to be crossed. Newgate shouted decisively. It's quite possible that one man can block everything and 10,000 men can't open it. Edward Newgate's back now looks a bit like his teacher. Marine Goddess, Vice Admiral Crane nodded. It looked like he had misunderstood something. So I've said it a long time ago, Newgate is not an illegitimate child. Roger was helpless. Don't worry, Teacher Roger, I won't tell the teachers or the others. Xiaohe smiled slyly. Roger. He knew that his ancient disciple was doing something strange again. The Marine Goddess is obviously aloof in front of others. But it's so unfair behind the scenes. Okay, I'm sorry, teacher, Xiaohe was wrong. Vice Admiral Crane smiled and apologized. Yeah, the teacher won't take this kind of thing seriously. Roger shook his head helplessly. It's just these idiots, do they really treat me as an old, weak, sick or disabled person? He has always been a pioneer. Now he suddenly became the object of protection. For a while, Roger is still a little uncomfortable with it. But, these guys can do their best. At least Roger's past efforts were not in vain. Dama, Vice Admiral Crane, aware of Roger's intentions, quickly crossed his arms. Teacher, just sit here and recover from your injuries. Leave the rest to those idiots. Speaking of which. Vice Admiral He's eyes suddenly turned red. The worry, fear, and panic in my heart can no longer be concealed. All of a sudden, what's going on? Seeing his beloved disciple's tears rolling down, Roger was also a little overwhelmed. He just wiped away the tears from the corners of Xiaohe's eyes with his warm hands. Teacher, I saw it before. Vice Admiral he spoke softly, with a cry in his voice. She helped Roger sit down before. Out of the corner of his eye, he keenly caught Roger's tattered body under his broad white robe. The bear's chest, which was originally solid, was filled with white bones. You can even see the broken and beating heart through the white bones. And arms, thighs. Under this white robe is already a body riddled with holes. Teacher, you will be fine, right? You will be fine, right? Xiaohe grabbed Roger's big hand, which had been repaired in advance, and gently rubbed it on his smooth little face. There is strong hope and expectation in the words. Roger nodded seriously. Who do you think your teacher is? With this little injury, it's 20,000 yuan too early to kill me. PFF'd, to 10,000 years, that's no longer a monster. Xiaohe was amused. As long as you can stay with Xiaohe, you will be a monster. Roger smiled. Bah, teacher, that's how you keep coaxing the little girl outside behind Teacher Tia's back. I'm going to tell Teacher Tia and the others to go. Xiaohe joked. Say it. She sighed again. I am no longer a little girl, and I have decided on the last few years. When I grow old, I will never appear in front of the teacher again. Why? Because I want the teacher's impression that I am always the most beautiful. Xiaohe said matter-of-factly. Roger smiled. I think that when you are old, my teacher will have already seen you. But, don't worry, the teacher's research will produce results soon, and it will take a long time to come. Roger said. Real. Xiaohe looked happy. He immediately straightened up. Okay, no more chatting with the teacher, I'm going to become a monk too. Vice Admiral Crane steps on the moonwalk, soars into the sky and joins the chaotic battlefield. Island of Gods. The greatest war in 800 years gradually came to an end. The regrouped Marine and World Government forces fought fiercely with the Rock's affiliated group. Except for Kong, who was seriously injured. Marshal Raymond, another unknown admiral, and the elite Vice Admirals did a sit-up. Lead the Marine elite into the City of God and start a final fight and showdown with the elite of the Rock's group. 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours. Roger took a deep breath. The world is in turmoil. With the help of the system. All the hideous fatal injuries on his body have been repaired. The exposed ribs and heart are invisible. At least it looks fine on the surface. Roger stood up. His eyes swept across the chaotic battlefield. It's time to put an end to this farce. Chapter 140 Rock's Pirate Route. Open black lens bracket. Please subscribe. Close black lens bracket. Advertise here. Wow. Silver Axe, the leader of Rock's Pirates' Second Legion, looked up to the sky and roared. The huge figure further swelled against the storm. He activates his Devil Fruit ability. The silver axe in my hand is as black as ink. Advanced Armament Hockey Sublimation. The huge axe is rendered as if it is a god axe. Silver Axe showed his strongest form. He charged up his strongest attack. The target wasn't Jabba. As soon as Marine reinforcements arrived, Rayleigh and Jabba quietly evacuated with everyone, hiding their merit and fame. Now Silver Axe's opponent is Marine Thunder Marshal Raymond. Raymond, who was 90 years old at the time, had long lost the youthful enthusiasm of his youth. After decades of fighting in the sea, his body has accumulated countless old injuries, coupled with various age-related injuries and complications. His condition is even worse than Whitebeard during the Summit War. Rao is so. With his passion, he joined the battle on the Island of Gods. Even after being seriously injured by rocks, he still managed to do a sit-up. Arrived now, even he, who was once known as the strongest admiral in history, is close to running out of fuel. Go to hell, Marshal Marine's head. I accepted it. Silver Axe yelled wantonly and arrogantly. The silver axe wrapped in jet black armament colors fell down brazenly. He slashed at Marshal Raymond without mercy. Raymond holds a thunder spear. He didn't dodge or dodge, he didn't even look at the falling axe. He tried his best. Stab the mighty thunder spear into Silver Axe's chest. This is clearly a fierce fighting style that puts one's life at risk. Even if I risk my life, I will take Silver Axe away. Marshal Raymond's strong and decisive approach was also beyond Silver Axe's expectations. He quickly tried to dodge, but it was too late. The only solution for now is to kill Marshal Marine as soon as possible. Think of this. Silver Axe grew evil, and the axe fell faster and faster. However, only a dang sound was heard. It's like gold and iron clashing. Silver Axe's decisive axe did not cut off Marshal Raymond's head. It was blocked on the way down. What shocked and horrified people even more. The only thing that could stop the Second Legion Commander Silver Axe's powerful blow that could split mountains and split seas was just 2 fingers. Impel Down, the legendary hero, White Yaksha Roger's 2 fingers. Time and space seemed to be frozen at this moment. Until the next second. Poof. Dazzling blood splattered. Marshal Raymond used his last strength to condense the thunder spear that penetrated Silver Axe's armor. It also runs through the heart of Silver Axe. The power of thunder blooms. All its internal organs were electrocuted into coke. Silver Axe's mouth opened wide. He spat out a mouthful of Kurozumi's blood. The look in his eyes gradually dimmed, and finally collapsed completely. The commander of Rock's Pirates' Second Legion, Silver Axe, died. After a moment of silence. The pirates screamed in terror. Silver Axe. The leader of the Silver Axe Corps is dead. It's Shiro Yasha. Shiro Yasha has recovered. It's over. It's over. It's all over now. White Yaksha has fully recovered. We have no chance of winning. Only that man is absolutely impossible to defeat. He is the Shinigami of Hell, the god of death. Run away. Intimidated by the name of Bai Yaksha. The morale of the pirates who were walking on thin ice was gone. However, the real reason for the collapse of the pirates was not the death of Silver Axe, the commander of the Second Army. Instead, John, the commander of the First Army, and Golden Lion Shiki, the commander of the Fourth Army, took the lead in running away. Damn the Island of Gods, I haven't seen any benefits. Instead, I want to involve myself in it. I don't want to do this kind of loss-making business. I still want to enjoy a lot of treasures. It's over if I don't accompany you. John screamed in horror, while ordering his subordinate Kurozumi Semimaru to build a barrier to block Marine's attack. He himself took advantage of this opportunity and fled with his life. Please give me flowers, 0. Young ones, if you want to survive, hurry up and follow me now. Golden Lion Shiki shook off Sengoku and with a wave of his hand, started to implement the Earth plan, to win over the remnants of the Rock's pirate. Because he knew that now that Roger had intervened, the outcome of this war was already doomed. Even Rox, the overlord of the sea, is powerless to revolving heaven. The roar of Rox shook all directions. John, Shiki, and you, what are you doing? Come on and fight. Kill all Marines. This is the captain's order. Rox shouted the captain's order. However, the pirates, dominated by fear, could no longer hear his orders. 0.0. He just ran away for his own life. The Rox pirate were defeated. Gia haha, I'm sorry, Captain Rox. The situation is now with Marine. Our operation can be declared a failure in advance. Captain, please run away quickly. Golden Lion Shiki reminded kindly. What did you say? You told me to run away. Who do you think I am? Rox yelled in shock and rage. Lousy is the overlord of the sea, Rox. Boom boom boom. Driven by extreme anger, the sky and the earth were shattered by the awakening of Rox abilities. Rox. Roger and Garp roared loudly. Break through the crushing power with unparalleled armament. Hit the Rox body. Okay, let's leave it to the young people. You really want to explain it here, Raymond? Roger grabbed the marshal who was about to chase the pirates and shook his head helplessly. My old life has long been prepared to be left here. Even if I can go back alive, I won't be able to last long. Marshal Raymond said calmly. One more day to live, old man. Roger said earnestly. Stop talking about me, are you really okay? Raymond asked. Fine. Roger nodded calmly. Chapter 141 Rocks, the Overlord of the Sea, comes to an end. Open black lens bracket. Please subscribe. Close black lens bracket. Advertise here. City of God. Marines' pursuit of the defeated Rocks pirate remnants continues. At the same time, in the war-torn city, there is still a pure land. Well. The cake is delicious. Every cake is delicious. Linlin laughed happily. There were 2 cakes placed in front of her. How about it, Linlin? My cake is indeed more delicious, so give me that fruit quickly. Blonde leopard print girl Miss Barkin rubbed her hands. Don't be kidding, I asked for Mr. Baguette's special cake. My cake is more delicious, right, eldest sister? Kaido looked at Linlin expectantly. That's right. What is unfolding now is the cake showdown. The 2 parties participating in the war are Miss Bajan and Kaido. The target of the duel is another devil fruit in Linlin's hand. Well, which one is more delicious? It's really hard to decide. Linlin fell into deep thought at 850. After a while, she nodded and made a decision. As expected, let's give it to Kaido. Linlin said, throwing another devil fruit to Kaido. Thank you, eldest sister. Kaido was overjoyed and quickly took it. This is a great favor that we will never forget in our lifetime, Che. Linlin grinned. Yes. Kaido nodded heavily, took a bite, and gained abilities. Never give others any chance to take advantage of you. This is his experience as an Internet Rocks pirate. Once you hesitate, the fruit may be about to fly away. Although I don't know what kind of ability it is, I still have to eat it before talking about it. The rest is left to God. Kaido, what ability did you get? Bao Bao asked curiously. Zone fish fruit. Cut, Miss Bajan said, feeling slightly less dissatisfied. She is really not interested in Zone's abilities. Not to mention the hilarious fish fruit. Is the fish fruit shark form? It is not used indiscriminately on land. The kind that can't even swim in the sea. Think of this. Miss Bajan couldn't help but burst into gloating laughter. However, the next second, Zone fish fruit phantom beast species blue dragon form. Kaido revealed the full name of the fruit. There was a sudden silence. What did you say? A species of phantom beast even rarer than Logia. Miss Bajan, who was gloating about her misfortune a second ago, now has eyes that are bloodshot and red with envy and jealousy, almost going crazy. She actually missed the power of a god-level fruit. Ah, Linlin, it's all your fault. Miss Bajan glared at Linlin. Well, so what? I never thought about giving the fruit to you from the beginning to the end. Linlin laughed teasingly. With a casual pull, Miss Bajan was thrown against the wall, her eyes rolled up, and she fell unconscious on the spot. Hey, Kaido, transform now and show me. Linlin ordered. Yes, eldest sister. Kaido, who was used to being his little brother, nodded obediently subconsciously. Close your eyes and try to activate your newly acquired abilities. Just heard a pop. A white mist exploded around Kaido. Wait until the fog clears. What appeared in front of Linlin and Longbread was a fat-headed fish with Kaido's face. The two looked at each other. Ha 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 ha. Well. Heartless mocking laughter broke out. Is this the fantasy beast Xinglong? Well, it's so funny. Stop blabbering, big sister, I just haven't fully mastered my abilities yet. Kaido was dissatisfied. Hey, Linlin, where did the fat-headed fish come from? A figure came from far and near. It was John, the commander of the First Army who escaped. I'm not a fat-headed fish, I'm Kaido. Kaido quickly transformed back into his true form. Lord John, why are you here? What about the war? How is the war? Bao Bao asked anxiously. Don't worry about the Laoshizi war. We have been defeated. You should run away quickly. John warned. Then he rushed into the Celestial Dragon's treasure house. He collected a lot of gold treasures and ran away. Linlin and the 3 of them were stunned for a moment when they saw the cool and coquettish running posture. A good moment. They finally came to their senses. Nani, has Captain Rocks been defeated too? Kaido screamed. Is this kind of thing really possible? The baguette is incredible. Of course it's possible. Well, because Captain Rocks' opponent is that person. Charlotte Linlin laughed happily. There was no dismay at all about the defeat in this battle. It seems there is no need to go there anymore. Hey, Kaido, don't play around this time. Seriously turn into a green dragon, and then fly away from this island with us and the treasure for 10 weeks. Linlin gave the order coldly with murderous intent. I didn't give you this ability just for fun. Yes, big sister. Kaido was excited and quickly tried the correct transformation posture. Ah, the sky collapses, the earth breaks apart, and the water flows backwards. Looking at the subordinates scattering like a mob. The overlord of the sea, Rocks, is filled with anger. Compared to Marine and Shirayasha Roger. At this moment, Rocks hates the betrayers even more. Especially John and Golden Lion Shiki who took the lead in running away. You all wait for me. How dare you betray? Don't think of leaving alone today. Rox shouted. Its body shape is like a meteorite, falling on the ground of the island of gods. Awakening of the ability to fall apart. Everything is shattered. Boom. The huge island of gods trembled. A series of super ravines are formed across the island. Endless sea water pours in, trying to swallow everything here. Come on, let's all die together. La ha 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 ha. Rox has a crazy laugh on his face and wants to destroy the entire island. Don't even think about it. Garp, whose whole body was soaked in blood, wielded his unparalleled iron fist. God avoids. Roger swung his knife. However, there was no slashing attack. The blade is still 1 foot away from Rox. The weapon color and Conqueror's impact wrapped around the blade have fallen away. Boom, boom, with the cooperation of Garp and Roger. Even the overlord of the sea, Rox, was severely repulsed. The flying figure smashed through the city of God. The mountains outside the city trembled. Lousy as the overlord of the sea, Rox. Rox was covered in blood and rushed into the sky. The awakening of the desperate urge ability. Desire wants to shatter this whole world together. Under the crushing power of the ultimate. His own body even had tiny cracks. The entire 2.9 people are about to disintegrate under their own abilities. Oh. Ha. 2 figures fell freely from the high sky. The cloak of justice and the captain's cloak disintegrated and fluttered in the wind. Wounds appeared out of thin air on their faces, arms, and bodies. However, their eyes were always clear, without any wavering. It's over. Rox. Iron Fist. Meteor. God avoids. Kill the god. Boom. Boom. Garp and Roger. The secret of their union exploded. Ah, the vicious mouth of Rox, the overlord of the sea, has been penetrated. The changes in heaven and earth brought everything to an abrupt end. I'll be waiting for you in hell. Rox grinned. The body fell into the bottomless abyss and disappeared. A generation of ocean overlord Rox D. Zebek has come to an end. The Battle of God's Island is over. Chapter 142. The war is over. Shanks and Buggy. Open black lens bracket. Please subscribe. Close black lens bracket. Advertise here. Oh. Tremendous cheers resounded over the island of gods. Ocean overlord Rox, die. The war is over. Hundreds of meters in the air. A broken pirate ship floated in the sky. How so? Captain Rox actually lost. We are the overlord of the sea, Rox pirate. How could it be possible to lose? The remnants of Locke's regiment collapsed helplessly on the deck, their eyes were distracted and their expressions were dull, unwilling to accept the outcome of defeat. If you lose, you lose. It's better to pack up quickly and return to the Beehive Island branch house. John, the commander of the First Army, waved his hand nonchalantly. Captain John, Legion Commander, some people are angry. But more people still choose to remain silent. Gia ha 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 ha. The commander of the Fourth Army, Golden Lion Shaki, laughed and rose into the sky. Everyone, it will be futile to continue this war next time. Now we should go back to Beehive Island first and consider the long term. Anyone who is willing to join my flying pirate fleet, I welcome 23. In the future, I will definitely avenge Captain Rox and the brothers who died on this island. Golden Lion Shaki spoke righteously. It has roughly the same meaning as what John said about going back to the branch house. But the impression it gives is completely different. Oh. Captain Shaki is right. Legion Commander Shaki is right. This hatred will definitely be repaid one day. Absolutely avenge Captain Rox. The pirates who got the steps shouted in response. Gia ha 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 ha. Golden Lion Shaki laughed heartily. This war, he is destined to be the biggest winner. Little ones, go back. Golden Lion waved his hand. The flying fleet moved slowly. On the ship, the pirates, emotions gradually calmed down. Hey, have you seen that child? Which child? That's the kid, Captain Rox. Really or not? Is the child missing? Maybe it would be better if it disappeared. Yes, after all, things are no longer what they used to be. Another part of the island's sky. A blue divine dragon dozens of meters long hovered in the sky. The 4 dragon claws moved nervously, continuously create numerous flame clouds. Carrying a huge body floating in the air. Well, the war is over. It's time for me to go back, to Cake Island. Above the dragon's head, Charlotte Linlin laughed, holding the dragon's 2 slender whiskers in her hands. Let's go. More. Yes, eldest sister. Kaido responded aggrievedly. The sun shines through the clouds and onto the broken earth. It seems to indicate the end and new life. The war is indeed over. But the island of the gods remains busy. There are pirates running around all over the island who haven't had time to board the spaceship. The treatment of injured sailors is also in progress. For Marine, this is still a critical moment. There is no room for relaxation. At this moment, Island of Gods near the shore of West Blue. The flag symbolizing freedom flutters in the wind. You guys, speed up. It's about to sail out. If it's too late, Marine will arrest you. The Oro Jackson pirate ship, the Japanese faction is busy. Everyone in Roger's group performed their duties and made preparations before sailing. The coast not far from Roger's group. A whale boat slowly approaches. Newgate, if you are alone, would you like to come with us? Roger shouted loudly. Yeah, Newgate, come together. It will definitely be fun. We are the best team. Rayleigh, Jabba and others also issued invitations one after another. It's better to skip it. You are indeed a good team, but all I want is family. Newgate shook his head. Well, then there's nothing we can do. Roger shrugged regretfully. Dad, Newgate's eyes immediately fell on Roger. No need to say anything else, Newgate, go ahead and do what you want to do. And in the near future, I hope you can come to me with pride and introduce your family to me. Roger grinned. Quote exclamation mark exclamation mark exclamation mark quote. Newgate nodded vigorously. The whale boat drifts away. Farewell to Newgate. Roger then came near the Roger pirates. Why don't you leave? Do you want to be arrested? Roger said. Ah ha ha ha, it's coming soon, it's ready soon. Roger smiled apologetically. Cemetery. The look on his face suddenly became solemn. What's the matter, Roger? Rayleigh asked. I thought I heard a baby crying. Roger said. Roger, are you referring to this? We picked it up in the city when we retreated. Jabba walked out of the cabin and raised the sleeping baby on his arm. No. Roger shook his head. Over there. After saying this, he ran out without any explanation. About 10 minutes later, Roger returns. In her arms was a little boy sleeping peacefully. Alas, picked up another one. We are pirates. If this continues, we will become a nanny group. Everyone complained. Ah ha ha ha, that's it. Teacher Roger, would you like to take it back and have fun? Roger asked. It's better to raise what you picked up yourself. Roger waved his hand. 940. Do you really think Impel Down is a nursery? What if I suddenly bring 2 babies back? Tia and the witch lady are absolutely irritating and are jealous. There will be a lot of trouble when the time comes. And he will also prove his reputation as an illegitimate child. Joke. Like to be a father or something. Roger didn't want to carry it. Ah ha 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 ha, there's nothing we can do about it, let's take it with us. Roger returned to the boat with the baby in his arms. Well, goodbye, Mr. Roger, please help me say goodbye to Garp and the others. The large 3-masted sailing ship, Oro Jackson, slowly set sail and drifted away. On deck, the 2 babies cried one after another. The heroes were so shocked that they were all in a panic. Ah, he peed on me, it's even cold here. As expected, I still have to go to the nearest city to buy milk powder, diapers, etc. Ah ha ha ha, don't just keep giggling, you stupid captain. Ah ha ha ha, speaking of which, I have to give these 2 children a name. Do you have any suggestions? No need to worry, both children have nameplates around their necks. Shanks and Buggy. Ah ha ha ha, Shanks and Buggy, your encounter with us is destiny. Roger lifted the baby up one by one with each hand. Here it comes again, Captain Roger's doctrine of destiny. Ha 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 ha. Chapter 143 The Overlord Ultimate Intention. The world is shaken. Open black lens bracket. Please subscribe close black lens bracket. Advertise here. The greatest war in 800 years. The Battle of the Valley of the Gods comes to an end. In this war, the pirates, marines, and world government invested a total of hundreds of thousands of elites. The scale is 10 times larger than that of Sycan Island 50 years ago. Same reason. The number of attribute cards dropped in this war was several times or even 10 times that of the previous year. Standing on the edge of the island, looking towards the battlefield. The entrance is filled with a sea of cards. The orange epic attribute card is like cabbage on the roadside. Red legendary attribute cards are also everywhere. The rarest golden legend is also lit up everywhere. As for the purple and white boards, Roger didn't even look at them. Then, let's start harvesting. Roger grinned. Start hiking to measure the island of gods. Wherever you go, countless attribute cards poured into Roger's body like iron attracted by a magnet, increasing his power. Initially, Roger will also check the income of the red attribute cards. Arrive later. Roger was too lazy to see what new abilities he had acquired. If you have that time, you might as well give the sailors some treatment. That gentleman is really powerful. Isn't this a matter of course? That's a legendary hero. Master Roger, I will follow you for the rest of my life. Director Roger, you saved my life. I will report to Impel Down in a few days. Words of gratitude from the sailors came one after another. At this moment, the top of the red line. Holy Land, Mariajoy. The meeting hall of the 5 elders. The smiles of the old people who apparently represent the highest power in the world no longer exist. The 500-year-old bottle of wine on the table was also tasteless. Not so long ago, the results of the Battle of God's Island are reported. Rox, the overlord of the sea, is defeated. Rox pirate, disintegration. This is naturally a good thing for world government. The greatest threat at sea is no longer. The fate that lasted for 50 years came to an end. From now on, this sea will usher in a period of relative peace. Worth a toast. However, at this moment, the 5 elders were frowning and couldn't be happy. Ocean overlord Rox is dead. But it was not wiped out by Uranus's execution light. Instead, Marine Vice Admiral Garp and Pirate Roger teamed up to defeat him. If word gets out about Marine's alliance with pirates, it will also have an impact on Marine's reputation. But that's not the point. The point is that it was not Rox who was hit by Uranus's time-space strike. Then there is only that man, Roger Shiroyasha. However, Shiroyasha is still alive. This kind of thing is absolutely impossible. How can a mere person survive the light of annihilation of a national treasure? Yes, that is definitely not a force that humans can withstand. He must have escaped by some means. But Uranus's lock is absolute, even the space is blocked. It's impossible for him to escape in such a short period of time. The blonde old star shook his head. Do you mean he actually survived Uranus's power? Bald birthmark 5 elders stare. Enough. The ancient 5 elders shook their heads. Even if that man really survives under the power of the national treasure, he must have paid a huge price, and there is not much time left for him. Insects will last forever. This time we can really start counting down the life of that man. After one day, the rescue work of the sailors on the island is basically completed. Roger's journey of picking up cards is over. For Roger today. The improvement in picking up cards this time is still huge. The biggest improvement among them is Conqueror's Hockey. On this island, Roger picked up a total of 5 Conqueror's Hockey promotion cards. After these points are added, Roger's Conqueror's Hockey level has officially changed from IV4 to IV5. Reached the Conqueror's ultimate state, the Overlord Ultimate Intention Overlord territory. Also, Newgate and Raymond also each dropped a Golden Legend. They are exclusive boost cards for Shock Fruit and Thunder Fruit respectively. One step closer to the LV5 vibrating board, the ultimate meaning of Thunder. But compared to the improvement of Fruit and Hockey, what Roger wants to improve most right now are 2 new attributes. Uranus. Devil. Roger spent 2,000 free attribute points to upgrade both to 3. Still nothing has changed, so, we have to give up for now. Leave it to be explored slowly in the future. The cleaning of the battlefield is over. The crumbling God's Island is obviously no longer habitable. The Marines regrouped and prepared to return to naval headquarters. Roger asked Marine for a small reconnaissance ship. Teacher, are you really not going to go back to headquarters with us? Vice Admiral Crane asked. No, you go back first. I still have some things to do. Roger said. Oh well. Xiaohei pursed his lips. That, anything else? There was a communication from the world government, saying that they wanted to cover up the contribution of Roger pirates in this battle and claim that Garp defeated Rox alone. What's wrong? Garp is unhappy. Yeah, Xiaohei nodded, so the Marshal and the others are planning to let you go. It's better to let it go. Tell Raymond and Xiao Kong not to do unnecessary things, otherwise, I will immune to death them. Roger interrupted decisively. Okay, I'll tell you. Xiaohei responded. See you then, in about a month. Roger waved his hand and took the small reconnaissance ship, drifting away. 3 days later, news about the Battle of God's Island began to ferment. The world's major news agencies are ready to take action. All it takes is Marine's order to announce the good news to the world. And, 1 week after the Battle of God's Island, the overwhelming news reached every corner of the world. Marine Vice Admiral Garp defeated the Overlord of the Sea, Rox, and became a Marine hero, which of course occupied the largest page. On the second page after that, Marine Specially, Zhao Qinhao, gave Roger a close-up. At the same time, it focuses on introducing to the world the master-disciple relationship between Roger and Garp, as well as Sengoku, Zephyr, Xiaohei and others on the third page. A sect of heroes. Shocked the world. That guy Raymond is finally planning to abdicate. I thought he really planned to outlive me, haha. Roger looked at the newspaper and couldn't help but chuckle. Marine has made a name for the new generation with such great fanfare. It also heralds the change of power within Marine. After this battle, Marshal Raymond resigned. Admiral Kong succeeds Marshal Marine. After that, Garp, Sengoku and Zephyr are the best candidates for the new generation of Marine's top 3 generals. Sengoku and Zephyr aside, that guy Garp is definitely going to cause trouble anyway. Never mind. Roger put away the newspaper, stood up, and stretched. Not far ahead, a sweet island stands above the sea. Cake Island is here. Chapter 144 Katakori's Goddess. Peel Kaido's Dragon Skin. Open black lens bracket. Please subscribe. Close black lens bracket. Advertise here. New World, Cake Island. This is not yet the 36 islands of 10,000 kingdoms that will frighten the world in later generations. In the boundless sea, there is only one island. There is no terrifying Charlotte family army on the island. There are only many homeless people living and working here. To create a country where everyone can be happy and sweet, this is Linlin's wish. At least that's still the case. Today's Cake Island is extremely lively. Far away, you can see the island decorated with lights and colorful decorations, and there is a festive atmosphere everywhere. The aroma of countless sweet cakes spread, attracting countless birds. Hurry up. Don't wait any longer. Today is my mother's important tea party. A little boy of about 7 years old directed various preparations with his tongue hanging out. He is not very old, but he has already begun to take on some dignity. He is the eldest son of the Charlotte family, Charlotte Perosparrow. Brother Perros, no, I really have no strength. Yes, Brother Perros, I can't run anymore either. Two 5-year-old boys were panting. Owen, Dafu, thank you for your hard work, you should go and take a rest first. Sparrow nodded. Immediately his eyes fell on the swing in the park not far away. A 5-year-old boy opened his huge mouth and enjoyed the delicious donuts. Katakuri, why are you lazy again? Sparrow put his hands on his hips. That's not right, Brother Katakuri has already completed his work. Armand, a 4-year-old blue-haired snake-headed girl said. Not only did he do his own work, Katakuri-ni also completed all our tasks. Katakuri-ni is so awesome. Yes, yes, the young girls who spoke out with Armand's compatriots spoke in admiration one after another. Cut. Sparrow cut quietly, as the eldest son of the family. He has always regarded himself as the boss. However, Katakuri's reputation now showed signs of surpassing his. At work, he really can't find fault. But, hey, Katakuri, today is a tea party. Mom's important guests will arrive later. You should quickly find a way to cover your big mouth so as not to scare the guests. Sparrow quarreled. Ha ha ha, it doesn't matter. Mom's customers must all be powerful people. How could they be scared by me? Katakuri didn't care. I was eating one donut at a time, enjoying myself. CDBF. Damn it, that kid never listens to me. Sparrow gritted his teeth. Brother Perros. The eldest daughter, Compert, suddenly ran over quickly, panting. Shaky. Sister Shaki is here. As the eldest daughter's words fell, the sound of high heels hitting the ground was heard. A young and beautiful girl with long legs, about 20 years old, appeared in front of everyone in Charlotte. So beautiful, Owen and Dafu could not help but be stunned for a moment. Park swing. Katakuri also looked directly at the beautiful girl who arrived. My favorite donut fell to the ground without even realizing it. This moment, Katakuri thought, the goddess of my dreams is probably none other than this. Don't just stand around, hurry up and welcome Sister Shaki. Sparrow reminded quickly. Oh, Owen, Dafu and others quickly fired a welcome salute. Ah, Linlin's children are so cute. Shaki praised. Ahem. At some point, Katakuri arrived at the venue. He straightened the tie of his tuxedo and performed a standard gentlemanly manner. Sister Shaw, please go this way. Katakuri arrives. Ah, thank you for your work. Shaki smiled slightly. Katakuri blushed. Brother Perros, everyone from Mads is here too. Mr. Vegapunk is here. Several 3-year-old children, Opera, Kadanzi and others trotted to report. Behind them, a man about 30 years old and wearing a white coat strode over. He is Vegapunk, a genius scientist who claims to have a mind that is 500 years ahead of the world. Also, behind Vegapunk, also following were 2 tall 18-year-old youths. The one on the left is tall and thin, with blonde hair as thick as a lion's mane. The most distinctive feature is the pair of upturned mustaches. He is Vinsmoke Judge, the prince of North Blue Germa Kingdom. The young man on the right is much fatter in comparison. Even though he is fat, his steps are still flexible. Hey guys, look at me, if I get thinner, will I become more popular? The fat young man improvised a rap, then raised his ears and waited for a response. However, what awaited was an awkward silence. Okay, Quinn, come back. Vegapunk shook his head. Yes, Quinn returned honestly. Tisk, Mad is led by the famous genius scientist Vegapunk. I really admire that name for a long time. Shaki tutted in praise. The youngest intelligence queen in the underground world, your intelligence network extends all over the world. I have also admired you for a long time. Vegapunk's polite business exchanges. Well, Shaki, Vegapunk, you are all here, come in quickly. Cake Castle, Charlotte Linlin went out to greet her personally. Followed by Bao Bao and his younger brother Kaido. No better now than 36 years later. Everything in the Charlotte family is in its infancy. Not many people paid attention to Linlin's tea party. If it were before the Rocks pirate fell, I'm afraid it will be a lot more lively. But now, the number of guests, not including Shaki and Vegapunk, can be counted on one hand. After simple greetings, Shaki and Vegapunk followed Linlin to the tea party courtyard where birds were singing and flowers were fragrant. Linlin and Shaki were chatting in the pavilion. The baguette is responsible for accompanying the guests. Kaido is surrounded by Vegapunk, Judge and Quinn. They didn't want to participate in this tea party. It was just because I accidentally learned that Kaido had eaten the blue dragon fruit, a phantom beast species. Has the ability to transform into the legendary blue dragon. That's why Vegapunk came here specifically to see if he could draw some dragon blood and skin to do some special research. Even though his strength is higher than the 3 of Vegapunk, Kaido still doesn't dare to act wild here. He could only passively and awkwardly endure the naked gazes of the 3 Vegapunks who seemed to be peeling off his skin and bones. Fortunately, this situation did not last long. Mommy. Sparrow suddenly shouted in panic. What's wrong? Something's bad. Mom, Marine's ship is coming. Sparrow shouted in panic. Real. Charlotte Linlin was not surprised but delighted. Well, it's really here. Children, gather quickly and follow your mother to meet your great-grandfather. Alas. Chapter 145 Grandpa Roger. Vegapunk idea. Judge was so scared that he cried. Open black lens bracket. Please subscribe. Close black lens bracket. Advertise here. Sweet Cake Island Coast. A small marine reconnaissance ship slowly sailed into the port. It has been 5 years since I last came to this island. 5 years ago. This is still a backward island. Now, but it is developing in a decent way. Regarding Linlin's philosophy. Build a country where all races coexist equally and everyone can be happy. Of course Roger applauded with both hands. I just hope that she cannot forget her original intention and be blinded by strength and power. But this time Roger came not to make any big claims. I just came to visit my juniors. These gifts should be enough to share. Roger nodded as he looked at the piles of gift boxes on the deck. Roger came to the cake castle with a box full of gifts. At this time, not far away, the door to the cake castle opens. Headed by Charlotte Linlin, Perospero, Katakuri, Owen, Daifuku, Armand and other children filed out. I trotted all the way, following in my mother's footsteps to the coast. Well, Master Roger, welcome to Linlin's Cake Island. Charlotte Linlin shouted happily. Alas, alas, Master Roger. Grandfather. As that man my mother's grandfather. Looks so young. Why have I never heard of this kind of thing? Owen, Dafu and other children all widened their eyes in shock. Grandpa Roger, I have an impression. Perospero nodded. When Roger arrived 5 years ago, he was only 2 years old. But I still have some impression. Linlin, I forgot to congratulate you last time. You already have a good family. Roger nodded. He glanced at all the children with kind expressions. Well. Charlotte Linlin, who received Roger's blessing, burst into laughter with unprecedented joy. Come on, Perospero, Katakuri, everyone, don't be stunned, this is your Grandpa Roger. Yes, Grandpa Roger. Hello, Grandpa. Katakuri and others bowed in unison. Roger smiled and nodded. Wave. Katakuri was the first to muster the courage to step forward. Katakuri took the lead. Owen, Dafu, Armand and other children stepped forward one after another. This is a small gift, just pick what you like. Roger untied the suitcase he was pulling behind him. All of a sudden, all kinds of gift boxes are popping up like a spurt. It's a gift. This is my favorite toy. And this one is popular. Very good. The children's laughter continued. Well, why don't you thank Grandpa quickly? Linlin reminded. Yes, thank you, Grandpa Roger. The atmosphere was cheerful. At the same time, near the gate of Cake Castle. Driven by curiosity, the guests at the tea party all followed Linlin out of the castle. That person is. A customer held up a lookout glass and caught Roger's figure first. Immediately his eyes widened and his whole body couldn't stop shaking. Under the control of extreme shock, he couldn't even say a complete sentence. Immediately afterwards, more and more people are seeing Roger. After a moment of silence. Alas, why is that man here? What the hell is going on? He's not here to catch me, is he? The director of Impel Down. The legendary hero Shirayasha Roger. Hey, Longbread, please explain quickly, what is going on? Could it be that you and that man colluded to catch us all in one fell swoop? The guests shouted in panic. Everyone, calm down. Things are not what you think. Bao wiped his sweat and explained. This barely stabilized the situation. That turned out to be the legendary hero, Shiro Yasha. Quinn, who was naturally slow to react, had bulging eyes, his eyeballs shattered the lenses of his goggles, and his chin almost dropped to the ground. It's actually here. Kaido's tall body shivered for no reason. Shirayasha. Roger. His body seems to be of great research value. If I could get his bloodline. Vegapunk's eyes are fiery. Mr. Vegapunk, please give up this dangerous idea quickly. Vinsmoke Judge shook his head in panic, and was so nervous that he almost cried. Don't be too scared, everyone at Mads. Shaki shook the goblet in his hand and smiled. Please give me flowers. Master Roger is actually very easy to get along with. If you have any ideas, you can discuss it with him. The premise is that you must prepare a considerable reward. Shaky, is the person behind you. Vegapunk raised his eyebrows slightly, and the shock on his face flashed away. No wonder, if it's that man, it makes sense. Vegapunk nodded understandingly. Not long after. Under the leadership of Linlin, Roger arrived at the tea party courtyard. The other guests returned even earlier. They each hid in a corner, not even daring to breathe. Afraid of being targeted by the most terrifying man in the world. If they were really caught Impel Down, then they would probably be finished in the second half. Fortunately, Roger had no intention of causing trouble for them on this trip. After all, it was the tea party Linlin was looking forward to. Roger didn't want to spoil the fun either. As long as they behave themselves. Roger doesn't want to work overtime, either. Well, Master Roger, please wait here for a moment, the delicious cake will be here soon. Charlotte Linlin said happily. Prepare the cake even with the baguette. Roger was sitting with Shaki in the exquisite candy booth. Watching Armand wait for the children to run happily. Lord Roger, what's up? I wonder when the things Sir Roger promised me will be fulfilled. I have been waiting for 4 years. I will become an old girl in a few more years. Shaki smiled and put his cold little hand on Roger's big hand. Roger's face remained calm, but he couldn't help but grin. Shaki was originally a talent discovered by Dark Uranus Beckett. However, Roger intercepted him and lured him into his own intelligence organization. It is precisely because of this incident. 96-year-old Dark Uranus Beckett was pissed to death. Otherwise, with his resources, it would not be a problem to live to be 100 years old. Then, the conditions given by Roger to instigate Jachi's rebellion, or the conditions for agreeing to her, were. Well, Master Roger, here comes the delicious cake for everyone. Charlotte Linlin came pushing a super large cake. Eat the cake first. Eat the cake first. Roger decisively changed the subject. Shaki had a smile on his face and put his chin in his hand. The mature and handsome old man is really intolerable. Chapter 146 Golden Legend. Bring Katakuri back to Impel Down. Open black lens bracket. Please subscribe. Close black lens bracket. Advertise here. A tea party. The guests and hosts enjoy themselves, probably. After eating the cake carefully prepared by Linlin. Several guests excused themselves for feeling unwell. With Linlin's permission. Then he hurriedly escaped from Cake Island by boat. To the end. The only ones left were the Vegapunk trio from Mads. Director of the deep sea prison Impel Down, the legendary hero Shirayasha Roger, your name has been admired by us for a long time. Vegapunk, the genius scientist of Mads, I have heard about you for a long time. No, but it's my honor to be known by the hero Roger. After some painless business exchanges, the topic gradually came to the point. For a genius scientist like Vegapunk, instead of being used by world government. Of course Roger wanted to keep it for himself. Pure suppression by force will always be unpopular, and, 700, will be counterproductive in the end. Everything comes back to the word, profit. That is. What can he gain by joining Roger's staff? This is what Vegapunk cares about most. To this, the first thing Roger can give is protection. Vegapunk doesn't doubt this. Secondly, resources. As the man behind a huge intelligence organization that spans the world. Of course, research resources are also indispensable. Last of the last, Roger gave Vegapunk what he wanted very much at this stage as a deposit and a show of sincerity. Nani? Kaido's eyes widened and he pointed at himself. Why me? I'm not your product. Kaido's voice rose 18 degrees. Regarding the fact that he was inexplicably given to Vegapunk by Roger as a gift, he felt great resistance in his heart. However, only a snap was heard. Linlin slapped Kaido on the back of his head and knocked him to the ground. How the hell are you talking to Master Roger? Kaido, you are really nothing. Linlin glared at Kaido fiercely. I'm really sorry. Kaido apologized softly. It doesn't matter. If you have any questions, you can ask them. Roger spoke kindly. Facing Roger's kind smile, Kaido shuddered suddenly. Kaido kid, don't be afraid. There are two paths before you now. One is to follow Vegapunk, or to follow me. Make your own choice. Roger thoughtfully gave two options. Me and Vegapunk. Kaido raised his hand without hesitation. Joke. Follow Roger. There is only one final destination. That is Impel Down. Isn't this just throwing yourself into a trap? How to choose? Kaido can still carry it clearly. Roger patted Kaido on the shoulder with satisfaction. He was so frightened that he staggered and almost fell to the ground. Ha, happy cooperation. Vegapunk stretched out his big hand happily. A pleasure to work with. Roger smiled and shook hands. It's the day. The tea party is over. The three members of Mads, headed by Vegapunk, said goodbye and left. At the same time, Kaido, the blue dragon, was taken away as an experiment. Even without Roger's intervention, it is destined that Kaido will become the research material of Vegapunk. It will just be a few years later. And on the way to escape from Red Line's research institute. Kaido will also save the last native of the Red Line, Jin, and become his confidant. However, these are unknown now. Vegapunk left, but not completely gone. In other words, he left behind something. A golden legendary attribute card that only Roger can see. That's the scientific talent card of a genius scientist. Blessed by the golden legend dropped by Vegapunk. Roger's scientific power suddenly skyrocketed, and all kinds of novel ideas emerged one after another. He almost turned into a science madman directly in front of Linlin and Shaki. Fortunately, in the end, Roger used his strong will to suppress the personality of the scientific madman. Evening. Roger and Shaki were in no hurry to leave. At Linlin's invitation, Ratong attended the family meeting. The next morning, had a simple breakfast. Roger and Shaki prepared to leave. Wait, Master Roger. Linlin waved quickly. Is there anything else? Roger asked. Linlin stepped forward holding his second son, Katakuri. Master Roger, this is my most proud son Katakuri. I want him to follow you back to Impel Down to practice. Linlin said shyly. That's it. Of course Roger wouldn't refuse. For Katakuri's potential, he knows better than anyone else. If you can accept your own training from an early age, it will definitely reach a higher level in the future. Become a true, emperor level, powerhouse. Then Katakuri, would you like to come with me? Roger asked with a smile. Yes, Grandpa Roger, I am very happy. Katakuri nodded firmly without hesitation. Then let's come together. Roger smiled and waved. Katakuri stepped forward and boarded Roger's ship. Grandpa Roger, Brother Katakuri, Sister Shaki. Have a nice trip. Accompanied by the reluctant shouts of Armand, Owen and others, Roger and the three of them drifted away. 3 days later, the deck of a small reconnaissance warship. A small figure hummed and practiced hard. Second deck. Sir Roger, this is the change that has taken place in New World after the Battle of the Valley of the Gods. Shaki presented a stack of information. Roger lay down on the recliner leisurely and casually. Just pick out a few important ones and tell me them. Really, as the boss of the organization, is it really okay to be so lazy? Lord Roger. Shaki put his hands on his hips. Shaky girl, you have to be considerate of me as an old man. I am already 80 years old. Roger said, hey, whose 80-year-old man is as energetic as you? Shaki smiles 4.2 like a flower. How do you know? Did I guess? Could it be that I guessed wrong? Mr. Roger, you are actually no longer good. Shaki's delicate hand circled slightly on Roger's abdominal muscles. The topic has gone astray. Yes. Shaki clicks till then. Actually, it's nothing important. It's just that the remnants of the Rocks pirate had a fierce fight at the branch house on Beehive Island. In the end, Golden Lion Shaki took away a large number of people and reorganized the flying pirate fleet. John, the commander of the First Army, took away most of the gold treasures, fled with the money, and is now being chased by his former subordinates. Hit. Half a month later, Roger returned to the first half of the Grand Line and parted ways with Shaki. Another week, Roger returns to Impel Down with Katakuri. Chapter 147. Roger is happy to be a father. Daughter Momosugi Gion. Open black lens bracket. Please subscribe. Close black lens bracket. Advertise here. Deep Sea Prison, Impel Down. 1 level above sea, platform. Director Roger, welcome back. Thank you for your hard work on this mission. Led by Deputy Administrator Baka. Guards lined up in half a large prison. They all welcomed the return of their king. Wow. Sure enough, Grandpa is so awesome. 5-year-old Katakuri's eyes are filled with little stars. Baka, it's all thanks to you while I'm away. Roger patted Deputy Director Baka on the shoulder. No, it is my duty to share the director's worries. Go back quickly, Director, the ladies have been looking forward to your return since yesterday. Deputy Director Baka made a gesture of invitation. Roger nodded. There was no delay. Deng even took Katakuri straight to the 5.5th floor underground. Just walked in. Roger, Lord Roger, 2 beautiful figures, one cold and one hot, fell into Roger's arms. Okay, you two, if you want to act like a baby, you have plenty of time in the evening. Now please pay attention to your appearance and don't let the children see the joke. Roger gently patted the beautiful backs of the 2 old girls and joked. Child, Tia and Miss Witch were stunned. Only then did I notice. This time Roger went out and brought back a child. Roger, brother Roger, this should be yours. Don't think blindly, Roger interrupted decisively, he is Katakuri, the second son of Linlin. Well, Linlin's son, so cute. Tia and Miss Witch's eyes suddenly lit up. Katakuri, who was called cute for the first time, immediately lowered his head in embarrassment. I know you, sisters, you are Mom's sisters. Katakuri said coyly. Yeah, Katakuri, raise your head. Let this be your home from now on. Tia and Miss Witch enthusiastically introduced Katakuri's new home. Quickly, after learning that new people had joined, Porcelino, Kuzan, Magellan and others also returned one after another. Mingle with Katakuri. Magellan volunteered to take the youngest Katakuri to the training ground on the other side. There is no more noise from teenagers. Roger returned to the room surrounded by Tia and Miss Witch. Speaking of which, where is that boy Long? Are you still studying in the room? Roger asked. You still have the nerve to say it. Tia rolled her eyes. Just take the child and leave it alone. This hands-off shopkeeper is really comfortable. Roger grinned, noncommittal. Miss Witch's cold little hand fell on Roger's shoulder and squeezed it gently. As Long said, Garp came to pick him up a few days ago, saying he was going back to East Blue to pay homage to Liz. That's right, it should be right. Roger nodded. Roger, you are a teacher who is really not conscientious at all. You don't even attend the important moments of your disciples. Tia put her hands on her hips helplessly. Roger smiled, knowing that he was talking about the appointment ceremony of the new admiral a few days ago. As Roger expected, after the Battle of the Valley of the Gods, Marine is also undergoing a major overhaul internally. Marshal Raymond retires. Admiral Kong becomes the new Marine Marshal. Vice Admiral Sengoku, Garp and Zephyr nominated the new 3 generals. It was just because of Garp's escape and refusal midway. The only ones who eventually became admirals were Sengoku and Zephyr. The disciples have long been able to take charge of their own affairs. It doesn't matter whether I, the teacher, show up. Besides, I don't want to appear under the eyes of the world government in the near future. Roger sighed quietly. Were you injured when we were on the Island of Gods? Miss Witch asked. How could that happen? Who do you think I am? Yes, yes, you are the invincible White Yaksha Lord Roger, but as expected you still need to undergo a detailed physical examination. Tia smiled. Come on, Master Donna, I'm ready. The witch lady had already put on a full white stocking nurse uniform at some point. Touching the heart. Gudong. Holy Land, Mariajoy. Has that man returned yet? Yes, 5 elders. How does he look? It seems to be no different than usual. How is it possible? I must be trying to hold on. I will investigate and report again. Yes, 5 slaying phoenixes in the world. A month of peaceful and leisurely days passed. A crane-headed warship returned from New World and came to Impel Down. The person responsible for handling the warships is Roger himself as the director. Thank you, Xiaohei. Roger smiled and touched Vice Admiral Crane's head. After simple greetings, teacher, I have a unkind request. Xiaohei hesitated to speak. Just say whatever you want, and the teacher will definitely satisfy your request. Roger agreed. Real. Xiaohei's eyes lit up. Quickly step on the moonwalk back to the warship cabin. Reappear. There was a sleeping baby in her arms. Teacher, then I will trouble you to take care of Guion from now on. I am away from home all year round and cannot take care of this child. Xiaohei said with a smile. Wait, Guion. Roger. 597 was stunned. Yes, when I picked her up in New World, the nameplate on her neck had the name Guion written on it. Xiaohei said. Roger. This year. How come anyone can pick up a child when they go out? Teacher, can't you? Xiaohei asked. Okay, of course. Roger agreed. Of course, it is necessary to cultivate future Marine Admiral candidates. Roger took the baby Guion from Vice Admiral Crane's arms. I don't know if the action is too big. Guion woke up with a start. But he didn't cry, just blinked and looked at Roger with big eyes. After a while, Dad, Guion stretched out his little hand and shouted. The expression on Roger's face froze, and he corrected him. Call me uncle. Dad, Guion shouted again. Call grandpa. Dad. Call me brother. Dad. It seems that Guion likes the teacher very much. Xiaohei chuckled. Okay. Roger compromised and reluctantly accepted the setting of being a father. Let's go, Guion-chan, go see your mothers. Roger let Guion ride on his neck. By the way, Xiaohei, please explain it too, I can't explain it clearly on my own. Yes, Master. Chapter 148 The Leaves of the Old Era Fall. Zephyr gets married and has a baby. Open black lens bracket. Please subscribe. Close black lens bracket. Advertise here. Deep Sea Prison. Impel Down 5.5 floors. A dragon walked away. Here comes Katakuri and Kajin. After Linlin, as the second girl on the 5.5th floor. Little Guion was cared for by all parties. Especially the two mothers, Tia and Miss Witch. It takes a lot of effort to take care of little Guion. The salary is sometimes higher than Roger's. Time came to 1485 tepidly. It's spring time. The dragon still didn't come back. After repeated inquiries from Tia and Miss Witch, Roger had to tell them the truth. As early as last year. The boy long just ran away. Garp was too ashamed. I have never dared to come and tell them this in person. Hear the news. Tia and Miss Witch were anxious at first, worried about not being able to eat or sleep. It wasn't until Roger made many assurances that that kid Long would be fine. The hanging hearts of the two women gradually let go. Spring passes and autumn comes. Withered yellow leaves fell all over the ground. It seems to indicate the withering away of the last old man in the old era. Naval Headquarters Back Shore Family Town. Roger pushed retired former Marshal Raymond to a ginkgo tree. A fallen leaf fell on Raymond's lap. In the end, it was you who came to see me off for the last time. That's fine. This is already the best thing. At least I still have you. Former Marshal Raymond laughed and coughed. Do you have any unfulfilled wishes? Roger sighed softly. I have no regrets in my life. Raymond said freely. But, Raymond changed the subject. Actually, there is a problem that has been bothering me for decades. What's bothering you? I've always been curious. Roger, what kind of ability are you, and why can you even play thunder? Isn't this exclusive to me? Raymond smiled. I'll tell you now. In fact, I am the Paramesha borrower fruit, and I can borrow your abilities. Roger said seriously. I won't borrow it. It's not up to you. Ha ha ha, it's still the same. Dang dang dang. The great bell of oaks rang. The last fallen leaf of the old era falls. Roger sent away the third Marine Marshal in his life. Cheers. Holy Land Mariajoy. It is customary for the 5 elders to open champagne to celebrate. Now, the only one left is that bastard. He was hit head on by Uranus. He won't be able to live long even if you think about it. But don't be careless until he actually dies. In addition, there is Marine. Before he knows it, Marine's top management seems to have become his people. This is not a good sign. Do we need to do anything? No, you don't need to do anything. Just keep going on. Suffer them to death. See Circle Calendar 1486. 2 years have passed since the Battle of the Valley of the Gods. The chaos in the New World gradually subsided. A new pattern of heroes coming together took shape. The biggest feature is naturally the flying pirate fleet that inherits the legacy of rocks. Relying on winning people's hearts, Golden Lion Shiki has gathered a large number of good players. There seems to be a tendency to become the new overlord of the sea after rocks. However, there is still a huge problem facing Golden Lion if it wants to become the overlord of the sea. That's the Roger Pirates. Also, the Whitebeard Pirates, who were once ignored by the Golden Lion, were established and grew rapidly in 2 years. There are signs of becoming the dominant player in the new world. A lone ranger on the sea. The aloof Red Earl Brewery Clydefield has also begun to show his prowess. The sea in the new world has generally become calmer. But the undercurrent underneath is raging all the time. For new world things, Roger has no time to think about it at the moment. Since getting the Golden Legend dropped by Vegapunk 2 years ago, Roger's technological capabilities are advancing rapidly. In just 2 years, finally, the pure gold problem that has not been overcome in the past 10 years has been overcome. Yes, after trying to find readily available solid gold to no avail, Roger began to develop and create pure gold by himself 10 years ago. Now it finally has some results. I believe there will be a few more years. The research on pure gold is almost complete. By the time, with a piece of pure gold in one's hand, it is just around the corner to defeat the world government. See Circle Calendar 1486's happy event is more than just a study of pure gold. This year, Zephyr, the junior brother of the first batch of Marine F4, got married. The marriage partner is a teddy bear girl who was saved by Zephyr when she was a child. Congratulations, Zephyr Admiral. Zephyr Admiral, happy wedding. Thank you, thank you, thank you very much, everyone, have a good meal and drink today. Zephyr smiled happily. Finally, he brought his wife to Roger, served tea and saluted. Ko-Gion and Katakuri were spinning around and scattering flowers. Tia and Miss Witch were also smiling. PFF ha 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 ha, Sengoku, you are the only one left. I don't know when I will be able to drink your wedding wine. Garp patted Sengoku on the shoulder. Go, go, why are you in a hurry? Xiaohei isn't even here yet. Sengoku slapped Garp's big hand away angrily. This is different, Xiaohei has always been. Garp. Vice Admiral Crane glared sharply. Garp shrank his head angrily. Marine did not kill Admiral. News of Zephyr's wedding spread like wildfire. It even attracted media coverage, although Marshal Kong stopped him in time. However, there are still 1 or 2 photos circulating to the outside world. No one cares. The good news company of the new era, Wang Mojiao Company. 1487. Zephyr's son is born. Teacher Roger, please give my son a name. Zephyr spoke happily. Well, that's it, let's call him Will. Roger said. Will, good, good, from now on, you are Will. Zephyr happily hugged his son in circles. Because Will is still too young, Roger makes an agreement with Zephyr. Wait until the children grow up before sending them over for training. He spent this period of his childhood with his mother at Naval Headquarters. We will consider matters of training and practice later. But before that, there is another important premise. That was how their mother and son were able to survive the fateful disaster 3 years later. That was also the disaster that changed Zephyr's voice. This time, tragedy will never happen again. Chapter 149. Zephyr's wife and children are in danger. Impel Down Youth Group attacks. Open black lens bracket. Please subscribe. Close black lens bracket. Advertise here. See Circle Calendar 1490, Autumn. Sabayati Islands number 30 Mangrove, Playground. The sun sets. The fiery red color fills the earth. A pair of young parents took their children and left the playground with satisfaction. Among them, a mother and her son were not very noticeable among the crowd. Mom, this amusement park is simply the best. I will come here next time for my birthday. The 3-year-old boy spoke excitedly. Okay, Will, let's go with Dad next time. Silica, a beautiful young woman in a long dress, has curved eyebrows. The little boy will nodded heavily. But Dad has justice on his shoulders. I really can't let Dad let go of other people because of my own selfishness. What a good boy, Will. Silica kissed her son's forehead gently. Then, let's let Gione and Katakuri come over to play next time, okay? Well, let's call Brother Magellan, Brother Kuzan and Brother Pelusolino. Will nodded happily, and if Grandpa Roger can come too. Then go and invite and try. The young woman in the long skirt didn't finish her words. The crowd coming and going suddenly became commotion. Only a gunshot was heard. The streets were in chaos. Pedestrians scattered in a hurry. Silica quickly protected her son in her arms to prevent him from accidentally getting separated or being stepped on by others. Wait until the surroundings return to calm. Only Will and his son were left in the room. Immediately afterwards, chaotic footsteps echoed everywhere. In the alleys all over the streets. One by one, fierce-looking pirates walked out slowly. Will mother and son were surrounded. Who are you? If you want money, No. The pirate yelled. Has it been confirmed? Is it them? Yes, boss, they are the wives of that useless admiral. The pirates. Discussion made Silica's pretty face suddenly turn pale. She knew that the other party was not just for money. This is revenge. When she became Admiral's wife, she was already prepared to be found by pirates. I just didn't expect that this day would be so sudden. And there's Will. We finally caught Admiral Zephyr's wife and children. That hypocritical bastard Zephyr, why don't you kill Admiral? After all, he is just a lackey of the world government. That's right, not killing us was his biggest mistake. Let that Admiral live in regret this time. However, that Zephyr's wife is very beautiful. Boss, do you want to take it away and enjoy it? A pirate showed a sly smile. Don't even think about it. Childish scolding sounded. Little Will broke free from his mother's arms and opened his arms. You pirate gangsters, don't even think about touching a hair on my mother's back. Will scolded in a childish voice. The whole place fell silent at first. The next second, ha 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 ha, he's just a brat talking big words. Do you think that since you are Admiral's son, we will be afraid of you? I forgot to tell you, we are here to take revenge on you today. You won't even be able to beg for mercy later. The pirates smiled ferociously. Time is running out, marine reinforcements will arrive soon and kill them directly. The pirate leader waved his hand. The pirates laughed ferociously. Just shoot. Boom. Gunshots were indeed fired. However, it was not Will and his son who fell. What's wrong? Where did this bullet come from? Damn, are marine reinforcements arriving so soon? Looking at CDBE, my partner who suddenly fell. All the pirates couldn't help but panic. Swish, swish, swish. Figures flickered. The pirates felt their vision flicker. The next second, there were 4 more figures in front of Silica, Will, and their son. From left to right, height and age increase all the way. 7-year-old Guion, 11-year-old Katakuri, 15-year-old Magellan, and 17-year-old Kuzan. Porcelino, the eldest, was firing cold shots on the balcony. It's Guion-sama and Katakuri-sama. Will's eyes lit up. Little Will, we are here too. Kuzan smiled. Magellan, Kuzan, how could you? Aunt Silica, don't worry, it's fine. Magellan said seriously. Assholes, they're just a few brats, kill them all. The pirate leader yelled angrily. Yes, a pirate raised his gun. Then he fell to the ground with a thud. Cat on the balcony sniper Porcelino shot him through the head. Shave, moonwalk, tempest kick, iron body, shock. Kuzan, Magellan, Katakuri and even 7-year-old little Guion all attack. Porcelino did not continue to ambush at high points, showing his responsibility as a big brother. It only took 3 minutes. Dozens of pirates were killed. When the Marines from Sabayati base arrived, only the packing work is left. I'm really sorry. This is a failure of our job. I almost led Zephyr Admiral's relatives. I have no choice but to die to apologize. The people in charge of the base were extremely frightened. While apologizing to Will and his son. On the other side, they thanked Kuzan and others. As Admiral's wife, Silica knew the general situation and did not break down and get angry because of this danger. Instead, she continued to comfort the self-blaming sailors. Afterwards, she declined the request of the sailors to protect her and returned to her headquarters. Instead, Kuzan and the other 5 went to the famous restaurant in Sabayati. Be prepared to entertain and repay this life-saving kindness. The rest will wait until Zephyr comes back. Only. Silica never expected it. Today her and her son Will's luck has been extremely bad. It was as if fate was playing tricks on them. We just got through the pirate crisis. In the blink of an eye, they just encountered a bigger crisis. From the nobles of the world Celestial Dragons. Chapter 150. Celestial Dragons were sentenced to 30 years in prison on the street. Please subscribe. Advertise here. The sun sets. Somewhere on the fishing coast of the Sabayati Islands. A silver-haired old man struggled to pull the fishing rod and fight with the giant thing in the water. Such a scene attracted the attention of the surrounding fishermen. Uncle, do you need help? There's so much movement under the water. What did you catch? Could it be sea kings? How could it be possible? If it were really sea kings, this old man would have been pulled down long ago. Anyway, let's go and help. The fishermen were talking a lot about how they wanted to help the silver-haired old man. Cemetery. The old man who was struggling with the giant thing with all his strength a second ago frowned. Holding the fishing rod in one hand, he suddenly lifted it. Only a loud crash was heard. The giant underwater object surfaced. Soar high. Finally, it landed heavily on the island. This is a 300-meter sea kings. This moment, the huge fishing coast fell into deathly silence. I don't know how much time has passed. Wow, shocked uproar broke out. What a joke. Sea kings. Really sea kings. This size is 300 meters away. Is this an existence that humans can catch? The old man actually caught sea kings earlier and even knocked sea kings unconscious. As expected, your uncle is still your uncle. Huh, where is the old man from before? Why did you disappear all of a sudden? Could it be that? I want to say that we should not encounter gods. The god of fishing. Quick, hurry up and worship the god of fishing and pray that there will be no air force every day. The fishermen on the coast knelt down towards sea kings and began to pray. At the same time, Sabayati on the other side. The bustling No. 27 Mangrove Shopping Street. At this moment, the air seemed to be solidified. The temperature even dropped below freezing point. The civilians on both sides of the street were prostrate to the ground, kneeling and worshipping the descendants of gods, without even daring to breathe. Because those are the celestial dragons, the nobles of the world. However, at this moment, there are some exceptions on this street. This behavior of yours is wrong. Why? 3-year-old Will spoke with a sweet voice and listed the 7 sins of celestial dragons in one breath. As the son of Marine Admiral Black Arm Zephyr, Will has been influenced by his father since he was a child. In the future, he aspires to become an upright sailor like his father. Little Will, who is kind-hearted, naturally cannot sit idly by and ignore injustice when he sees it on the road. So when I saw celestial dragons robbing women on the street and shooting the victims, Little Will broke free from his mother's arms and rushed into the street. Conflict arises because of this. Listen to Little Will's 7 accusations. The streets were so silent that you could hear a pin drop. Even Celestial Dragon's Zolonir was confused. After a while, Celestial Dragon's Zolonir came to his senses. The expression on his face gradually became distorted, and anger surged. As the Celestial Dragons, a noble of the world, no one has ever dared to speak to him like this. Not to mention a mere 3-year-old child, how dare you teach him to do things? This kind of thing is simply unforgivable. You arrogant brat, who do you think you are standing in front of now? I am the world's noble Celestial Dragons, a descendant of God who will not be criticized no matter what I do. Celestial Dragon's Zolonir shouted sharply. He took out the golden gun in his hand. Pull the trigger on Will without mercy. Will. Silica hugged her son quickly. Only a slight sound was heard. Poor Salino caught the bullet. Celestial Dragons, let's take a step back from today's matter, or just let it go, okay? Poor Salino discussed with a smile. Who do you think you are? You dare to make me regress? Soldiers, come here and capture them all. I will make them all slaves of this saint. Celestial Dragon's Zolonir screamed. Is it okay to blow them all away? Katakuri grinned ferociously. Ah la la, it seems I have no choice but to go up. Kuzan narrowed his eyes slightly. This is the Celestial Dragons, what a group of evil-doing people they are. Guillaume clenched her little pink fist tightly, her face flushed with anger. If we do it here, it will bring huge trouble to the director, but we can only do it. Magellan was determined. Mom, did I do something wrong? Looking at his brother and sister who had been implicated by him, little Will had tears in his eyes and his heart was shaken. In response to her son's question, Silica just shook her head and could not say a word. Next moment. You did the right thing. Little Will. ... Please give me flowers. A faint voice sounded in the field without warning. This voice. Katakuri, Kuzan and Magellan's eyes lit up. It's Daddy. Guillaume cried out in surprise. Come earlier next time, teacher. Poor Salino shook his head. There is a breeze blowing across the sky and earth. In silence, a tall and majestic figure appeared out of thin air. Grandpa Roger, am I really right? Little Will asked weakly. Yes, Little Will, you did nothing wrong. Roger nodded affirmatively. The confusion on Little Will's face dissipated, and his expression returned to determination. Roger turned around and looked at Celestial Dragon's Zolonir with a half smile. How many years do you want to go to jail? Asshole, what nonsense are you talking about? I am a Celestial Dragons. I dare to offend you 3 times. None of you can escape today. Celestial Dragon's Zolonir shouted angrily. Boom. There was a gunshot. The bullet hit Roger in the heart. A dazzling, blood flower, exploded. Ha ha, ha 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 ha. See, this is. Celestial Dragon's Zolonir's smile just appeared on his face and then stopped abruptly. Instead, what arose was deep shock and disbelief. You have obviously been hit by me, why didn't you? Snapped. A crisp slap sounded. Celestial Dragon's Zolonir's body flew hundreds of meters across. Just a slap. His head was completely twisted and deformed. 60 years ago. Roger is just getting started. So just free the slaves of the Celestial Dragons here. Now 60 years later, times have changed. Even if it's Celestial Dragons, Roger can still hit them without fail. After the unspeakable silence. Lord Zolonir Saint. Damn it, no matter who you are, you dare to fight Celestial Dragons, you are finished. The Celestial Dragons guards who reacted belatedly shouted in unison and launched an attack on Roger. Whoosh. Roger's eyes flashed with ice. A look fell. All Celestial Dragons guards bowed. Celestial Dragons Zolonir, who robbed a girl on the street and intended to shoot Admiral's wife and children, was sentenced to 30 years in prison in the name of Impel Down director, to be executed immediately. Roger pronounced his sentence coldly.